say, no, Naledi must be disciplined. For what? Because she's saying the right things that the leadership of the ANC and its veterans are expected to say, and to remind us all the time that these things have got to happen. Not the leadership that says that you are failing.
Mbalula says her comments are different to that of ANC NEC members Senzo Mchunu and Malusi Gigaba, who openly criticized the ANC's adopted policies, like going into coalition with the DA. Thabiso Koba, Eyewitness News.
And a Brazilian judge has declared the country's former president Jair Bolsonaro a flight risk. Bolsonaro is under house arrest while awaiting the verdict of his coup plotting trial. He faces 40 years in prison if convicted of plotting to cling to power after losing 2022 elections to Lula da Silva. The verdict in the case is expected early next month, and the Supreme Court Justice Alexandre de Moraes, who is presiding over the trial, has asked the police to carry out full-time surveillance for the former army captain Bolsonaro. Gold is trading at $3,382.42 an ounce. The rand is at 17.64 to the dollar, 23.74 to the pound, 20.51 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $67.32 a barrel.
And in the traffic in the city of Tshwane, we've got an accident reported on the N1 North, right near Atterbury Road. It's causing delays coming out of the Flying Saucer interchange while travelling on the Mike 1 North, bumper-to-bumper traffic between Boyson's Road and Carr Street. There's also queuing traffic along the N12 and the R24 West between Edenville Road and the Gilulis interchange.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng. The temperatures will peak at highs between 26 and 29 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour, Parliament's Justice Committee says it's concerned about the delays in getting the Police Commission of Inquiry off the ground.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Show up for the finalist who showed up for you. Gauteng's greatest awards with 702 and Yoko. Vote for your favorite local business now on primediaplus.com.
You're with Clement Manyathela
On 702.
Let's walk the talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856.
92.7 and 106 FM.
Nine minutes after 9 o'clock. Dumelang, good morning, Sanbonani. Welcome to the Wednesday edition of the Clement Manyathela Show. Thank you for joining us here on 702. We love being in your company always. I hope you're good this morning. Is there anything big happening for you this morning or today? What are you getting up to today that is so significant? I want you to let us know so that we can wish you well, and some of us who pray can pray for you. Do you have that important exam? Are you proposing? I mean, who knows? There are some people who propose on a Wednesday. Do you have an important presentation today? Maybe a board meeting? Are you resigning from work today? Is that a thing? Some people host resigning parties, like divorce parties. What's happening? Are you going on a date today? By the way, do people still go on dates to ask people out? Do you ask someone's number and tell them how you feel about them on the phone and that's a done deal? Or do we still have well-mannered gentlemen and ladies out there who take people they want a relationship with on a date to officially ask them out? Or are we winging it these days? Because back in the day, remember we used to go stand kokoning and whistle and whistle and then go for a walk. But I've picked up that when you talk to the young ones, all of that has changed now. I mean, Zulu men were known to be good at shela, like to propose. But these days, that's not really happening, unless I'm mistaken. But Zulu men were like known for ukshela, that they will go learn izithakazelo zakho, they'll go learn your clan names just to impress you. And these days, it just seems like things are settled on the phone. What's going on? What's going to be happening in 10 years' time, eh? Do you still do that? In fact, let's have some fun with that. Do you still do that, like a proper day to ask someone to be your partner? Or these days, that's assumed? How did you ask your partner out? Or how were you asked? 011-883-0702. The WhatsApp line is 072-702-1702. Can you believe that the Madlanga inquiry won't be commencing on the 1st of September because the Department of Justice has failed to do its job? They failed to procure vital infrastructure that's necessary for the commission. The Minister of Justice yesterday took a decision now against the DDG, responsible for infrastructure, and the DG at the department. The Minister of Justice did say that she has decided to act against them because there were lapses in the system and due diligence was not done to ensure the commission starts on time. I honestly don't understand how the Justice Department failed to do this basic work. This is not the first time that the inquiry of this nature is getting assistance with resources by the department. Thank goodness there's consequence management, and kudos to the minister for acting so quickly. More of this consequence management, please. I mean, obviously the minister provides oversight over the department, so I always say the buck stops with her. I interviewed her last night and I wanted to know when exactly she was aware that there will be delays and whether or not she held regular meetings. And she said that she did. What she says is that she was trying to protect herself from interference in issues of procurement because it's more work of accounting officers. Remember, we once had a conversation about this thin line between accounting officers but also executive over people who provide oversight versus accounting officers. So there's a line that can be crossed. And I wonder if you are satisfied with the action that the minister has taken against the DG and the DGG, or do you think that it's unfair that they are taking the fall? Give us a call or send us a WhatsApp voice note. At 10 o'clock, we're going to be in conversation with the ANC's Treasurer General, Dr. Gwen Ramokgopa. And I really want us to have a conversation about the African National Congress. Are they seeing some resurgence on the ground? I see that Dr. Ramokgopa is one of the leaders that has urged party leaders to move away from what she has termed analysis paralysis. Instead, she says leaders must offer concrete solutions to the party's mounting challenges. And of course, her comments come after Fikile Mbalula yesterday. In fact, a couple of weeks ago, even before, he had announced that there would be action taken against Senzo Mchunu and Malusi Gigaba because they've been warning of the party's decline. They've said some things that are quote-unquote negative about the organization. The former minister, Naledi Pandor, also recently lamented the ANC and how it has lost its glory. But Ramokgopa is stressing the need for discipline and accountability, even decisive action, to restore the movement's integrity and prevent any further regression. And I wonder how they're going to go about doing that. But also, what are they seeing on the ground in as far as the party's strength is concerned? Interested in that. So that conversation coming up between 10 and 11 o'clock. And then at 11 o'clock, we're going to do our Listener's Choice feature. So you'll remember with Listener's Choice, it's an opportunity for you to send us an email on cm@702.co.za and tell us what you would want us to talk about, right? What do you want us to discuss? So every Wednesday at 11 o'clock, we give you that opportunity. When you've sent us emails, we come through and we plug those conversations on the Listener's Choice feature at 11 o'clock. So today, we're going to be looking at human trafficking. One of our listeners has asked that we discuss how prevalent the trafficking of South Africans is abroad. I mean, earlier this year, if you remember, there were 23 South Africans who returned home after they thought that they were taking up promising jobs overseas, only to discover that they had been lured into human trafficking syndicate. And many of them were offered work in call centers, in restaurants in Thailand, but instead they found themselves trafficked across the border into Myanmar. They were stripped of their passports and forced into online scams under slave-like conditions. And some endured years of exploitation before a coordinated rescue mission finally brought them home. So there's a larger number of South Africans, mostly young people, who are desperate for jobs. And they've gone and they remain trapped abroad because they've become victims of transnational criminal networks that prey on economic desperation and the lure of opportunities that appear too good to be true. So we're going to be talking about how rife and prevalent this is and how you can protect yourself. So that's what's coming up at 11 o'clock. And then we're going to wrap up the show with the sharing space at 11:30. That's the show coming up over the next 3 hours.
Clement Manyathela, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Morning, Clem and your team. Clement, on your first question, shela, please play Jabu Kanyile's song, Spunky Spunky. I think it prophesies about this situation. Guti, if you exchange numbers, then it's a hit. So please play that song, Jabu Kanyile, Spunky Punky. It will tell you almost everything or questions that you have asked from Max in Pretoria.
What does he ask in that? I know the song. Spunky Punky, I love that you can resist. Yeah, is that the one? I know the song. Yeah, I don't know if it used to be a thing back in the day when someone really wants to be with you. And I'm worried that in 10 years' time, people are not even going to ask people out. Like, it's just going to be, we looked at each other, that's it, that's confirmed, we're together. Back in the day, you take someone out, if you can, on a date, and you ask them, can you please be my partner? Can you be my girlfriend? Can you be my boyfriend? That's what you did. Or you bought flowers, or you went out and you went on a walk. You sat somewhere at a park. These days, grab your phone, we spoke on the phone, and that's it. It's a done deal. Huh? What's going on?
Morning, Clement and team. Happy Wednesday. Clement, today's youth, they no longer shela. They say you go with the flow, you know. You read between the lines. So some ladies have expressed that a guy that tells them that, hey, I like you or kiaurata is a turn off. So you have to go with the flow. Sam in Alberton.
Right, people are turned off with that? When you tell them I love you. Yeah, guys, let's do better. Okay, here's Jabu Kanyile. Can we learn a thing or two from him? Take some notes, gents.
izingane zethu azikwazi nokushikila lokhu ukuphenya ukuxosha iziqhenye ngobuntombi bayo usuqela number phone ekunika usuqonile njalo lafela mthani aphela masengumuntu
Hey, a lover that I can resist. Hey, some of you wait for the lady or the guy to ask you, what are we? Huh? How many? If you ever get asked that question, you must know you have fundamentally failed. What are we doing? What are we? Because you've never really properly officially asked. Just take a moment. Write a song, write a poem, send flowers. Go on a date, take a walk by the park. Go on a run together. You need to stop this laziness of just getting on a phone. Hey, Dinsang, let's go out for this. And then that's it, Rajol. Come on, man. Let's do better.
Yes, Clement. The gentleman who asked you to play Sponky Ponky is right. It's going to tell you, there's a line where he says that Abafana Basakwazi Kushela Intombi. I think he also goes on to say that you get the number and then that's it. Yes, that's exactly what the gentleman is saying. But yeah, that song says Vele with high as Sasheli. We talk to you a little bit and then it's a hit.
Yeah, there's a part in the song where it says umungenayo imali ngeke ikome intombi. Meaning if you don't have money, the lady's not going to go with you. Isn't that what's happening these days? Like I've been seeing shocking videos of ladies who don't even have cars who say, I want a man with a car. Ma'am, you can't even drive. You can't even drive, but you're busy. I want a man with a car. How prophetic is that? Eh? Because it says if you don't have a car, they're not going to comma you. Isn't that what's happening these days? It's so weird. I find that it's mostly a lot of the ones who don't have the cars. They will tell you, I want a man with a car. I want a man with money. Where's your money? Oh, what is this world getting to? It's 24 minutes after 9.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela.
And there
On
you go,
702.
your favorite latte, hot and ready.
You never disappoint.
Listen, did you see that email? God, it's going down. Let's catch up later. Got another Zoom meeting.
Oh, okay, cool.
Later.
Meet our audience. They are working, living their lives, sharing stories, and always listening. So if you're going to interrupt them, it better be good. Prime Media Broadcasting Sales. We help you connect with every productive, innovative, and dynamic individual in our audience. From the open plan office to the executive suite. Contact us at advertise@primemedia.co.za today.
It's that time of the year. Sneezing, itchy, watery eyes, blocked noses, and coughs. It's time to live, work, play, and sleep allergy-free. For trusted relief for you and your family this allergy season, ask your pharmacist for the Adcock Ingram OTC Allergy Survival Pack. With products like Allergex Non-Drowsy, Cetisid, Levogex, and more, we have you covered. Remember, Adcock Ingram OTC. and visit beprepared365.co.za.
Breathe in, insurance. Breathe out, pineapple. In, insurance. Breathe out, pineapple. Again. In, insurance. Out, pineapple. Again and again.
Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP.
Babe?
Yeah?
The fridge light finally stopped flickering.
Yeah. I replaced it.
You replaced it?
Mm-hmm.
Like on your own?
Yep.
You know what that means.
Party! Every excuse is a great one when you've got balloons, bubbles, gift wrap, cards, candles, and dress up.
I'm calling it the Fridge Light Festival!
The Crazy Store. Hey, you never know what you might find to have a good party.
Your voice,
Your station.
your open line
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela.
on 702.
26 minutes after 9 o'clock. I've been asking you if there's anything big happening for you today. We want to celebrate with you and wish you well and pray for you.
Hi, 702 Land. I'm really excited this morning. I hope you're all well. I'm going to be driving to Pretoria a little bit later to get the right sizing for my Team South Africa tracksuit, as I will be competing at the World Masters Powerlifting in Cape Town in October.
Wow.
Something I never thought would ever happen to me. Something I never thought at all about. And here I am getting into my national colors and getting my federation tracksuit. I'm really excited and really proud of myself as someone who's just turned 40 and didn't think I would be capable of achieving something like this. So that's the big thing happening to me today, and I'm really happy, and I'm probably going to cry a little bit.
Oh, man, that's amazing. Look at you. All the best, all the best. We're so happy for you. That's an incredible milestone. All the best when you go to compete later on.
Good morning, Clement. Oh, today it is truly an awesome day, truly a special day. Personally, I'm still pinching myself at how God has been faithful to me. For the past 8 years, I haven't been working, and last month I got a job. I got employed. So today it is my day off, and it coincides with my special day in my life. It is my birthday, and for the first time in a while, I really don't know what to do, how it feels. It is my special day. I have the ability to do what I want, but I'm still struggling to decide what to do. And I'm so grateful at this opportunity. This is Matlaku in Richards Bay. Thank you.
Matlaku in Richards Bay. Happy birthday. If I didn't have issues with my voice, I would sing for you. Langal Balele, you're calling us from Western area. What do you want to say about Shela? Good morning.
Mr. Madimega, how are you, sir?
Sharp, how are you?
Welcome to over, baby. Talk some samala.
Standa sam. Tanda no muvita. Yo. Samsa sezola.
So, Madimega, I want to with me, bro. I'm not a particularly good-looking dude. I'd consider myself a solid 4.
It's actually the ones who think they're not good-looking are the good-looking ones.
With a solid haircut, then I'd be around a solid 5. But I'm shelling to be calling you.
Hey!
I'm shelling calling you.
So when do you say show is Tarazelo Zabo? How do you hit the spot?
You know, like with me particularly, like you just have to have a way of talking with women.
Yeah.
To figure number nine. That's the very last thing. About abaningi nje bavele bayimuthi mayisethi ufuna nje amanamba nani cha. Yeah, but that's the very last thing.
So give us tips then. Langalbalele, give us tips. So what's the best thing to do first? So don't ask for numbers. What do you say? Do you say Mama K or Mambanban?
Kala lapho ke sawona sisubani, and then uzokutshela ukuthi ubani, and then ngabe ithakazelo zakhe you hit dead. Uyabona. and trying to be interested emntwini sekutsheni ukuthi ubani lo muntu uqhamuka kephi nani hayi uzilalela
Langalbalele. Yeah, we must do like a master class with Langalbalele on how to shela because you seem like you've cracked the code. Thanks for a call, Langalbalele in Western area. It's 9:30. He says, do not just get there, ask for the numbers. Just ask, who are you? Where is home? Babekaya. Who are your folks? And then only later on can you ask about the numbers. But so lately it's so easy. Hey, what's your number? Some of you shella even on DMs, which is fine. But what happened to the traditional way of doing things? Siso, good morning.
Thanks, Clement. Good morning. 5 suspects arrested in connection with the Facebook scam are expected to appear in the Midrand Magistrates Court this morning. They were caught earlier this week while trying to swindle money from a person who responded to a Facebook Market car sale. The would-be buyer arrived with police as a precaution at the location where the transaction was expected to take place. Trade Union Federation COSATU says while it supports tighter tobacco control legislation, more needs to be done to clamp down on the illicit trade. While industry is concerned about the job losses that could result from more stringent legislation, COSATU believes it's the illicit trade that could fuel unemployment. And US President Donald Trump is expected to host a meeting today on post-war plans for Gaza. Trump's envoy, Steve Witkoff, was asked during a television interview about a plan for a day after in Gaza, referencing the end of Israel's war in the Palestinian territory that began in October 2023. Trump stunned the world earlier this year when he suggested the US should take control of the Gaza Strip, clear out its 2 million inhabitants, and build seaside real estate. And those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 10 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Mam Ramel.
Yes.
Unjan Mam Ramel.
Dr Manyathela.
It's in traffic.
You know, actually, when you're stuck in traffic and maybe your car has got problems, that's the best way to shell. And you see it's a woman who's frustrated with their car. Usually men get to have good pickup lines there because they can fix the car and
what
have
if you
like...
can't fix the car?
No, most of the time they can. Maybe it's just a tire or something.
Yeah.
And I've had good stories that came out of
I once wrote a song for someone.
You going to play us the song?
No.
Did it land? Did the song
It
arrive?
did, of course. I mean, who has ever written you a song? Like, that's the most amazing thing ever. I've written a poem for someone, and I've written a song for someone, and I went and recorded it. I ordered a studio. I hired a producer.
Are you for real?
Yeah, I hired.
So you are a recording
well-known
artist.
music producer. I hired him, and I sat and I wrote the song, and I was in studio and I recorded the song.
And you are together. I would.
Yeah. It's 33 minutes after 9. What's in the traffic?
Well, we've got delays between Edenville Road and the Kennedys Interchange. That's on the R24 as well as the N12 West. While traveling on the M1 South, an accident right after the Buccleuch Interchange is causing delays. There's also queuing traffic on the N1 South approaching Olifantsfontein Road. While in the city of Tshwane, 2 major accidents. One happened on the N1 South before Botha Avenue, causing delays, and another one on the N1 North near Linwood Road, also causing delays coming out of the Flying Saucer Interchange. More updates at the top of the hour.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
702 afternoons.
With Relebohile Maboja, 1 to 3 p.m.
How do you teach? Because we also don't want people to wait for people to be taught. We want them to have the patience, the capacity, and the will to take in young people that maybe are not there yet, but can be taught. So outside of what you are teaching, in, like, how do you teach in this virtual space, and how can that be applied in all spaces?
The way we teach it in the virtual space is to say that everyone has a unique skill of being able to be independent thinkers. But there are fundamental principles that will distinguish fake answers from the real answers.
Executive Manager at AVIA, which is the African Virtual Institute of Accountancy, Professor Rashid Small.
702 afternoons.
With Relebohile Maboja.
Let's walk the talk.
The South African Future Trust Summit is fast approaching. This premium entrepreneurial showcase will return to the Sandton Convention Center on the 5th and 6th of November, with international and local speakers sharing groundbreaking insights from their entrepreneurial journeys. It's an unmatched opportunity to network with like-minded entrepreneurs, innovators, investors, and change makers. With 2,000 plus delegates and over 200 exhibitors all under one roof. Come and experience the extraordinary world of thriving entrepreneurs and business owners. Avoid missing out. Get your ticket now for 1,800 Rand each for the 2 days at summit.southafricanfuturetrust.org in partnership with 702.
Spring is sprung. The grass is res. It's now time to get stuck into your garden. So get to Chamberlain Gardening Centres for our spring promotion from 4 August to 12 October. Get ceiling trays at R29.90 or Calterra compost at R24.90. And don't miss a chance to win your share of 90,000 Rand in gift vouchers every Saturday during the promotion. Chamberlain, famous for hardware and gardening since 1903.
Welcome to the brand new days.
Sail the world with Norwegian Cruise Line, with more to see, more to do, and more to enjoy. Plus, upgrade your holiday with NCL's More at Sea for premium beverages, specialty dining, and much more. Think international cruising. Think NCL. For the best deals available, visit ncl.com or contact your travel agent. Restrictions apply.
Welcome to the brand new days.
Life has its own rhythm, but muscle and joint pain may upset the beat.
Norflex gel.
Trust Norflex Gel's triple action formula to target muscle pain, reduce inflammation, and help numb the affected area.
Norflex gel.
So, get your beat back and reclaim the rhythm of life.
Norflex gel.
Beat the pain with Norflex Gel and higher strength Norflex Gel Fort. For more information, speak to your healthcare professional.
Your voice,
Your station.
your open line
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela.
on 702.
23 minutes before 10 o'clock. Okay, I'm thinking about playing you guys the song, but the last time I sang for you guys, you judged me so harshly. So since then, I'm just traumatized. Sai on the WhatsApp line says, Clement, I'm just curious, was the song hip-hop, R&B, or Kwaito? No, it wasn't Kwaito. It was R&B, like soulful. I don't know how to define the genre, but it definitely wasn't Kwaito. Sabelo says, no ways, we have to hear that song. You don't have to tell us the name of the person, but I suspect it is Masake Kana. Please play us the song, Clem. I'll think about it. Simnikiwe, you're in Pretoria. Good morning.
Hi, Clement. Good morning.
Hey.
So, Clement, I just want to say to friends out there, something is very important, guys.
Yeah.
Like, we need to be very clear on what is going on. It's very confusing when we're vibing or we don't even know what we're doing. I remember back then, I had to ask my husband to ask me to be his girlfriend because I was confused. What's happening? So it's very important, gents. We beg, shela us. We want to be shelled.
So did your husband then say, okay, can you be my wife or my girlfriend?
Yeah, at the time he did. Because
Yeah.
I was very confused.
Yeah. Okay, Simnikiwe in Pretoria, thank you. See, just ask, guys. It's easy. Do it in like even if it's a letter, a love letter, or just write an email. Just do it. I'm so nervous now. Here is the song I once wrote. I sent it to you, Abel, on the WhatsApp line. So Abel is gonna look for it now, and then we're gonna play it after these voice notes. So let's listen at your voice notes on 072 702 and 702.
Talking about poems, Clement, I remember I once wrote this poem to this lady I had a huge crush on for a very long time because we grew up together. And it goes like this. I wanted to write you a letter, my love, a letter to tell of this longing to see you and this fear of losing you, of this thing which is deeper than I want. I feel an endless pain which pursues me, a sorrow wrapped about our future.
Sure.
I wrote this poem because for a long time I had shelled her, and then she had always denied. And even after countless attempts, we have never dated. And a few years later, she fell pregnant. And that's when I decided this is where my road ends.
What a poem, hey?
Good morning, Mother Major. This is Vijay Chavan in Johannesburg. Look, this day is my guy. These things of shelling, hey, it takes time, my guy. We just exchange numbers. Tomorrow morning, I greet you. Good morning, Han. You say good morning, Boo. It's on what they did. That's it. We'll propose each other along the way, my guy. I'll convince you along the way. But as for now, we're dating, my guy.
Hi, Clement and team. Clement Tina's corner, siyakwazi ukushela. The problem is that when we do shela, it gets branded as harassment. So you don't want to be on the bad side of the law.
Hey, yeah. I mean, obviously, there's a thin line there. You don't want to be harassing people. Shellering doesn't mean you must walk around and even when someone is feeling unsafe or at a restaurant, you're just staring at them the entire time and you're constantly asking for numbers and they don't want to give you, but you are just constantly pushing, you know? I mean, that borders on harassment. Shellering is just ask. And if someone says, no, I'm not interested, I don't want to talk to you, respect that as well. Okay, here we go. Here's a song I once wrote for someone dear to me. Don't judge me, please. Don't be harsh. Be kind. The moment that I met you, I knew I was dead to love you abundantly. Yes, you, my love, I'm indebted to you. I met you in the time of need. I needed you, you needed me. Thank God it was to be. Thank God you are with me now and forever. On that aisle, I look you in the eye. On that aisle, I thank God that you are mine. On that aisle, you say yes, alright, die. On that aisle, on that aisle, will you let me in? You make me spin round and round. I'm living my dream. I'm happy to be here. Please, can you hear the sound of my heart? On that aisle, I look you in the eye. On that aisle, I thank God that you are mine. Hey, on that aisle, you say yes or I die. On that aisle, listen, on that aisle. Ish. Come on, that's a good song. I wrote the lyrics. Yes, I wrote all the lyrics. I actually created the melody. And I went to a certain popular producer that I would mention and I said, yo, I need you to help me put together a song. And I gave him the melody and I gave him the lyrics. I wrote the lyrics and I got into the studio and I recorded. I'll post a video actually on Twitter of me in the studio because some of you don't believe that it's me singing there. I'll post a video of me in the studio actually recording the song. Now tell me, have you ever done anything romantic like that? You wouldn't beat that, would you? It's 15 minutes before 10 o'clock.
Your voice. Your station. Your open line. Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela on 702.
Clement, I love your question about Ukshela. I'm a 49-year-old female. So I look hot, right? I'm hot. I'm too hot for my age. So I get approached by younger guys, right? And I'm single. divorced. So, shela, Clement. They want to do that thing of my number, and then when they call you, it's like, baby, how are you, baby? And I'm like, no, I'm not that cheap, right?
Continue straight to
I
stay
want,
on Malabong Way Drive.
I want to be shelad. Yeah, the guy who's gonna get me is the one who's gonna shela me. Like,
Continue on Malabong Way Drive for 3
azame.
kilometers.
Re bone gore, skipan. Yeah. And I'm teaching my daughter the same thing. She mustn't just fall for a simple phone call and then suddenly you are my baby.
Oh my God, Clement! I am so impressed. You are so romantic on that aisle.
On that aisle.
From Alberton.
I actually think I should use that for a proposal, hey? On that aisle. Yeah, but the only line there that I regretted writing, because the person I wrote the song for was like, Aibo, so you said, because there's a line that says, on that aisle, you say yes or I die. And this person was like, wait, so if I don't say yes, then what? You're going to die? You're going to kill yourself? That's very dodgy. Yeah, that's the only line I would take out. But the rest, come on, gents. If you've done anything more romantic than that, I challenge you to beat it now. Beat it now. Vusi, you're calling us from Durban. Good morning.
Hey, Clement.
Hey, Tsarak. I'm not doing
No, sharp, man.
Sure.
But the biggest problem these days is what we call a sexual harassment policy. That thing has just killed everything. Because if I'm interested in you and you're my colleague, I mean, Pella, you must remember, you go for somebody that you are interested in. It's not about whether they are your colleagues or not. So if I'm interested in my colleague, now I can't make that move because I'll put my career on the line. And you may find that she's also interested, but maybe I'm not aware of it. But because of the policy, at least if we were given time as gents to say, look, you are allowed to share. And even if you are rejected the first time, because truth be told, if you can ask most married people, and okay, let me just say most adult people who are over 40, they will tell you, Uti, most of them, they had to pursue a lady, and the lady, that's how the lady determined your seriousness.
Mm-hmm.
But these days, if she rejects you the first time, then you have to walk away. You can't pursue any further because then it will be interpreted as harassment. And I think it just killed everything.
Yeah, I hear you. But also these days, we are getting more cases of sexual harassment being reported, more violence on women. There are more men who just kill women and violate them just because they are not interested in their advances. And that's why these protections are important these days. In the workplace, Vusi. Thank you for your call, Vusi in Durban.
Hola, Mr. Manyathela. Mr. Manyathela,
Come on, that's
someone should just sign you. Someone should just give you a record deal. You are good, man. You are good, Mr. Manyathela. Peter in Jimiston. Well done, bro.
Morning, Clement. Morning, Clement and the listeners. It's Maxwell from Land South. I actually love the song. It's beautiful. I would want to listen to it again. Well done. You need to remake it. Thank you.
Yeah, like Clement. Hey, all right. Yeah, there's a baby face loading here. I think it's better you stick to writing those songs and get other people to sing them for you. Lovely, lovely words. Not sure about the artist singing, but it's a lovely song, Clement. Guys here in Kempton.
Morning, Clement. Very nice melody, very nice words, very nice music. But please stick to your day job. You sing like me. Bye.
It's 10 minutes before 10.
702 delivers
on the matters that matter to you.
I am Alula Madlamini, an avid Talk Radio 702 listener. Have been listening since way back when it was medium wave all the way till now. Talk Radio 702 is, it forms part of the network of what my life is made up of, you know, from God to my family to my joy. 702 is my magazine of life, the depth and width of knowledge from fun to spiritual knowledge and fulfillment. So I find everything on 702, so much that it is the only radio station that I listen to from Monday to Sunday. I am totally sold out on Talk Radio 702.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts.
So we can deliver more on what matters to you.
702 listens.
Let's walk the talk. You could do something first and still be doing it wrong. What hurts is sprinting but never making it to the finish line. Quit going in the wrong direction because with Sunny Sixt, you can rent here and globally. Other car rental companies only have a vision to try harder. We actually deliver. While they leave you feeling blue, our budget and vibe match yours. For a tailored service offering premium at every stage, book premium car rental excellence with Sunny Sixt.
Live extra at Checkers, SA's #1 value for money supermarket, and save on Parmalat or Bonita salted butter, 500 grams for $74.99. Dower Egberts instant coffee, 200 grams for $169.99. And Huggies Gold jumbo pack or extra care nappies or pants, any two for $199.99 per pack. Valid until Sunday at Checkers, Checkers Hyper, or shop on 6060.
What is Overtrail? Is it off the beaten path, over the edge of comfort, or the thrill of the road less taken? It's over every bridge, every obstacle, every trail, and over to that view that takes your breath away. Overtrail means going further, exploring deeper, surrounded by the comfort and sophistication of a luxury SUV. It's this spirit that inspired the Overtrail project. Experience Overtrail in the LX and GX range. Lexus. Experience amazing.
Medical aid plans, they're normally like this.
So, you'll need to take this form and this. So don't forget this too. Okay, wait. Don't forget this one. Wait. Okay, done. My back! Sorry, sir. That's gonna have to come out of your savings.
At Bonitas, we make our plans simple, so they're easy to understand. We also offer a benefit booster and a range of other benefits that don't come off your savings. Visit bonitas.co.za when you need us. Bonitas, medical aid for South Africa. T's and C's apply.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
7 minutes before 10 o'clock. Sebastian, you're calling from Eldorado Park. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement. Now, Clement, with a little bit of voice training, you can make it a duo with Lira. Seriously, Clement, I'm not being funny here. You can do it. Just a little bit voice training. I'm so proud of you. Keep it up, my brother. You can make it, man. You really can make those billboards. Seriously speaking, Clement, keep it up. Great show, eh?
Thank you, Sebastian. You see, some people have confidence in me.
How? Clementino. This was a bomb. I'm telling you, this was a bomb. If you had dropped a single, it would have lighted the whole place like fire. And contrary to what we used to, this was completely different from what we used to hear in you sing on radio. But well done. Drop us the lyrics. You know, maybe this might actually be another way to shela. Well done, Clement. Great one. Well done. Marker from Centurion.
Clement, unzwele chumlumu. Yeah, that song it's a good song, man. You are creative. I liked it. I mean, you just gave me an idea that I want to implement in my current relationship. I mean, that's fantastic, man. This is Pretty in Witbank.
Pretty. Let me post the lyrics actually. How do you post the lyrics on? Yeah, I'm gonna screen grab like on my notes. I'm gonna post these lyrics on Twitter. Yeah, I actually love the lyrics more, guys. Like more than obviously the singing, because that's not my strength. I was winging it there, but the lyrics, come on. The moment that I met you, I knew I was dead too. Love you abundantly. Yes, you. My love, I'm indebted to you. I met you in the time of need. I needed you. You needed me. Thank God it was to be. Thank God you are with me now and forever. On that aisle, I will look you in the eye. On that aisle, I will thank God that you are mine. On that aisle, you say yes or I die. You will let me in. You make me spin round and round. I'm living my dream. I'm happy to be here. Please, can you hear the sound of my heart on that aisle? A poet, Bafwit.
Morning, Clement Manyathela and the team. For some of us, dating or proposing or shelling used to be a very difficult one. I remember the woman that I'm living with now, the mother of my beautiful 2 kids. I shele almost 3 years. 3 full years. Shelana, go to the movies, but still, it was difficult. Lama date, I can see dates and stuff, but we did that. I remember one of the movies that we watched was Jumping the Broom, which was very, very nice back then. And, but it was, it was difficult, Madimecha. But here we are, AB in Midrand.
Mr. Madimeja, we used to be in what I can call it sessions. We used to be, we used to share for more than a year, more than a month, more than 6 months. But things have changed, man. Nowadays, it's be like, hello, can I have your numbers? Done. That's it. Then we go with the flow. But back then, you have to go through the session, Baba. You have to go through the sessions. Last point here.
Morning, Clem. Milponi here. Abasa Shela Shem, they don't share us anymore. They ask our numbers. And when you ask me for my number, I ask you, are you going to call me or are you going to WhatsApp me? Because you give them your number and the next thing they are WhatsApp calling you. They are texting you, Mama, and you said you want to call me via a call, a phone call, not a WhatsApp call. And then he's declaring his feelings. I'm like, no, you have to ask me if I want to be your girlfriend so I can say yes or no. Hey, they don't shell us anymore. I miss that. I'm a 90s baby and I miss being shelled. I miss it.
Guys, please, let's shell. Oh, yeah, that was fun. I'm doing this because I'm actually going to miss you guys because they're stealing me, the breakfast show, for about 2 weeks. So I won't be with you on this show, but you'll be listening to me at 6 until 9, standing in for Bongani. But yeah, what a way to say bye-bye to you for now. It's 2 minutes before 10.
Are you living with diabetes? Tired of painful fingerstick tests? Introducing a new continuous glucose monitoring system from Abbott Laboratories. The Freestyle Libre 2 system sends glucose readings straight to your compatible smartphone. With minute-by-minute glucose readings, optional glucose alarms, and excellent accuracy, the Freestyle Libre system is here to support you in the management of your diabetes. For more information and where to buy your Freestyle Libre 2 sensor, visit www.freestylelibre.za.com. Now available at your local pharmacy.
When service delivery fails, hope doesn't have to. Fix Local helps you report issues, escalate when you're ignored, and as a last resort, fix them yourself, safely and legally. Fix Local is more than a platform. It's a way for communities to stand up, speak out, and work with or hold local government accountable. Visit fixlocal.org.za to report burst pipes, broken street lights, or other service delivery issues in your neighborhood. Also, lots of tips to help you organize in your community for action. 702 is proud to support Fix Local. Let's walk the talk and fix what's ours.
What does extraordinary mean to you?
Is it being voted South Africa's most trusted enterprise telco 2 years in a row?
Vodacom Business helps more than 133,000 businesses with AI, cloud, enterprise apps, IoT, and security. One seamless ecosystem. Together, let's build the extraordinary that sustains today and protects tomorrow. Start your journey at vodacombusiness.co.za. Further together, Vodacom Business.
The Festival of Motoring, powered by Westbank, brings the spirit of Ubuntu to the Kyalami Grand Prix circuit from the 29th to the 31st of August. Experience thrilling track drives, 4x4 adventures, drifting, supercar hot laps, and F1 demos. Get your tickets on Howler and use the promo code RADIO for a special discount. The Festival of Motoring, the power of new.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. 5 suspects arrested in connection with a Facebook scam are expected to appear in the Midrand Magistrates Court this morning. They were caught earlier this week while trying to swindle money from a person who responded to a Facebook Market car sale. The would-be buyer arrived with police as a precaution at the location where the transaction was expected to take place. The group opened fire when they noticed the officers, resulting in a shootout. Tandoluhle Ngobo reports.
The men aged between 27 and 39 were wounded during the shootout with police, and they tried to flee in 2 cars. A high-speed chase ensued and one of the cars overturned, and 5 of the suspects were arrested and 2 firearms were found in their possession. The group is facing charges of attempted murder, possession of unlicensed firearms, ammunition, and conspiracy to commit armed robbery. Police continue to search for 2 other suspects who managed to escape during the shootout. Tandoluhle Ngobo, Eyewitness News.
In the Eastern Cape, 5 men linked to a deadly village attack in the province are back in the Mthatha High Court today. The group is charged with the murders of the 18 people in the Gqobozana village in Lusikisiki last year. 5 weeks since the trial starts, families of the victims say they have not dropped their pursuit of justice and closure. Nhlanhla Mabaso has more.
The state is expected to call more witnesses in the Lusikisiki massacre trial today. The matter is being heard in the Mthatha High Court sitting in Lusikisiki. It's been weeks since the matter was first listed on the court roll, and relatives of the victims say they are still not sure what led to the fatal attack. September marks a year since 18 people were shot and killed while gathering for a cultural ceremony in Gqobozana village. The assailants were armed with high-caliber weapons. David King says the families still seek crucial details.
We have not yet found closure in the matter, but we are hopeful that at the end of it all, we will find closure.
He says the testimony delivered so far have shed some light.
What is being unraveled by the witnesses is really quite interesting, because we're actually getting closer and closer now to getting to understand. The first suspect is always claiming not to be part of this whole thing, but I think the net is closing on him very fast.
The case gets underway after 10 this morning. Nhlanhla Mabaso, Eyewitness News, Lusikisiki in the Eastern Cape.
COSATU says while it supports tighter tobacco control legislation, more needs to be done to clamp down on the illicit trade. While industry is concerned about the job losses that could result from more stringent legislation, the union believes it's the illicit trade that could fuel unemployment. Parliament's Health Committee is currently considering public input on a new bill that will, for the first time, also regulate vaping and other electronic forms of smoking. Lindsay Dentlinka reports.
COSATU says the Tobacco Products and Electronic Delivery Systems Control Bill is a progressive response to a national health crisis. The union's parliamentary representative, Matthew Parks, says workplace productivity is being impacted by the effects of smoking. But he's calling on legislators to be bolder and to consider including track and identification mechanisms in the bill to stamp out the sale of illegal cigarettes.
So we have a real problem with the explosion of illicit trade in tobacco. And that threatens our health objectives, it threatens lives, but also threatens the legally abiding industry and of course those jobs and value chains there.
Parks says the workforce is also being impacted by premature deaths as a result of the effects of smoking.
We support provisions that seek at a workplace to reduce the amount of smoking and the exposure of smoke to non-smoking workers.
COSATU has pleaded with Parliament to pass the new legislation before the end of the 7th administration. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News. Parliament.
And US President Donald Trump is expected to host a meeting today on post-war plans for Gaza. Trump's envoy, Steve Witkoff, spoke during a TV interview with Fox News about a plan for a day after in Gaza, which references the end of Israel's war that has killed more than 63,000 Palestinians. Trump stunned the world earlier this year when he suggested the US should take control of the Gaza Strip, clear out its 2 million inhabitants and build seaside real estate. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu praised the proposal, which was heavily criticized by many European and Arab states. The war in Gaza was sparked by Hamas's October 2023 attack on Israel, which resulted in the deaths of more than 1,200 people. Witkoff did not elaborate on the plan that he touted yesterday, but said he believed that people would see how robust it is.
We think that we're going to settle this one way or another, certainly before the end of this year. Hamas is now signaling that they're open to a settlement. The Israelis, when they announced this operation, also announced at the same time that they were funding $600 million of aid to go into Gaza. And in addition to that, they also announced that they were open to continuing discussions with Hamas.
Gold is trading at $3,382.42 an ounce. The rand is at 17.64 to the dollar, 23.74 to the pound, 20.51 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $67.32 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the M1 South between the Baklu interchange and Marlborough Drive. There's also queuing traffic along Witkoppen Road. That's in the Pulsov area right near Rivonia Road. And then traveling in the city of Tshwane, some delays on the N1 South between the Flying Saucer interchange and Atterbury Road due to an earlier accident.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng. The temperatures will peak at highs between 26 and 29 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. 5 suspects arrested in connection with a Facebook scam are expected to appear in the Midrand Magistrates Court this morning.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Gauteng's greatest awards with 702 and Yoko. Your vote is not just a click. It's a thank you, a nod, a way of saying we see you. Vote for your favorite local business now on primemediaplus.com.
You're with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
Let's walk the talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7 and 106 FM.
8 minutes after 10 o'clock. Dumelang, welcome to the second hour of the Clement Manyathela Show. Thank you for staying with us here on 702. Really appreciate the fun conversation we had in the previous hour. Thank you for your contribution on the 702 open line as always. Remember, at 11 o'clock, we're going to do our Listener's Choice feature. And today we're going to be looking at human trafficking. One of our listeners has asked that we discuss how prevalent the trafficking of South Africans is abroad. You'll remember earlier this year, there were 23 South Africans who returned home after they thought they were taking up promising jobs overseas, only to actually discover that they had been lured into a human trafficking syndicate. So we need to be very, very, very careful. So we'll talk about how prevalent that is, but also how cautious you need to be, especially when you are being attracted to these jobs that are being advertised on social media. So we'll get into that conversation at 11 o'clock. But right now, we start our conversation with Dr. Gwen Ramokgopa, who's the ANC Treasurer General.
You're with Clement Manyathela.
702.
TG, thank you so much for coming to 702. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement, and good morning also to the listeners and viewers.
I appreciate you coming through. You've never been to this studio, have you?
think I've
You
been,
have. Have you
especially
been
when
with
I was,
Sidi?
yes,
Did you
yes,
do an
yes,
interview
yes,
with
I
Sidi
did with
Madia, right?
Sidi at some stage,
Yes, I do. I
yes.
remember that. Yeah, that was in this studio. I've never really had you on my show here, so I
It's my
appreciate you
privilege
coming
and
through.
pleasure.
Okay, so I want us to start with, of course, an issue that the Secretary General addressed yesterday, and it's an issue that you have also addressed as well, of ANC leaders who are sharing their reflections about where the party is right now. Senzo Mchunu spoke about the ANC being on the verge of collapse. Malusi Gigaba was talking about the efficiency of the NEC and whether or not it was a good decision to get into a coalition with the ANC. Naledi Pandor just the other day was also talking about how the ANC has lost its glory. What concerns do you have as an organization when you have leaders like that reflecting on the organization and stating where they think the party is at this moment?
We have agreed that it is the culture and tradition of the ANC to have one message, many voices. And leaders need to be available in their branches in particular, in their communities, and in their sectors to articulate what the ANC has discussed and also sees as a way of advancing the nation. Because that's what the ANC was really birthed for, to free the nation during the colonial apartheid times, and also to advance the nation, to ensure that our nation prospers. And that's the most important issue. I think what sometimes we worry about is whether leaders are articulating the collective views effectively, and also that we should not also put the organization into disrepute. And where there are objective challenges, be able to provide hope and possible solutions. But we are also availing ourselves to share, like I'm doing here, with the nation what the discussions are about, and exactly what we're doing with this honorable positions that we have of leading this organization of the people.
The tricky thing is going to be deciding who then you take action against, because the Secretary General says Senzo Mchunu and Malusi Gigaba will face action, but Naledi Pandor won't.
Well, let's allow the Secretary General to do his task of following up the NEC resolutions and investigating, engaging, and then he will report to us. He reports to us as officials, and finally NWC and NEC. I would not want to get into the merits of the cases at this point in time, because he hasn't reported to us.
And I'm looking forward to, once he's reported that, what then the collective decision is. Because as I say, the tricky thing is, who do you decide who you take action against? I mean, the president once said ANC is corruption accused number one, for instance. Someone could argue that you're bringing the party into disrepute. How do you make such a bold statement, for instance? But that's a conversation that we'll have once the collective decision has been taken. There are some concerns, though, from even some within the ANC, that what's happening now is that you're silencing legitimate debate, because what these people are saying is not necessarily false, is it? I mean, Senzo Mchunu says the ANC is on the verge of collapse. That's not necessarily false. And he says if we don't do anything to change this and implement our renewal agenda, then this is the end of us. That is true.
I haven't listened to the whole, and that's also the important issue why there has to be a receipt of the full statement, and also engagement with the relevant leaders who I both respect. All three of them I both respect, and also to engage. I think you'd remember that it's not only them that we have raised concerns about what they have articulated. That is a continuous effort to ensure, as I've said, to have one message, many voices. We must speak, but we must speak what advances the national interest, and what also represent what the ANC says. So I think, as I've indicated, I think let's allow the SG to execute his task, but he's not the final voice. He will report to us, and we will engage, we will advise one another, and indeed look at how we focus not on ourselves, but focus on dealing with the crucial matters of the nation.
What is your assessment, where as the organization, I'm not asking just you, as the Treasurer General, what progress do you think you've made in the implementation of the renewal agenda?
If you have listened to what Me Naledi Pandor said, at least I had an opportunity to listen to her live. She started by articulating what she had engaged with Me Mashope with on the progress that South Africa has made. And I think that is lost in the conversations that followed. And then she goes to explaining what challenges made her perturbed that within the organization and in society. I really fully agree with her that we have made progress. And if it is possible for South Africans, as South Africans, because it's not the ANC that made progress, it is us as a nation, we focus on the progress we've made, especially on the social security side, and on ensuring that our democracy is resilient. Even the 2024 elections shows that our democracy is resilient. So if we can focus on that and say we can't only dwell in the glory of the positives, because if we don't deal with the challenges that we have, especially critical challenges, even the progress that we have made may be reversed. And that is the message that we want to give. And that is also the message that President Ramaphosa was putting across at the National Convention, which I was privileged also to attend and represent the ANC. We mustn't come across as if you have a sore, you don't throw away your body. You say, all over my body, I feel good, I feel healthy. But this sore, I must deal with it. But we mustn't characterize the sore as everything about us.
I still go back to my question, though. How do you assess your progress on the renewal agenda? Are you confident that, because you've been speaking about renewal for probably over 10 years now.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, since I was a political journalist, I used to report about the renewal agenda of the ANC. But I wonder, has it taken shape?
If we still have problems, which I believe we still do, it could have been worse if we didn't have a renewal program. What have we done with the renewal program? I think immediately in 2018, we resolved that let the sitting president recuse himself to deal with what was a crucial national concern at the time, especially post the Zondo Commission. And that's not an easy decision for any party to do. But we took that decision. We also took a decision to suspend a sitting Secretary General who was finally expelled. Both, anyway, were finally expelled. Those are not easy decisions to take. And we intervene continuously when there are issues that are raised of wrongdoing within the party. But the other important issue was to strengthen the capacity of ANC deployees in government in particular to serve South Africa better. You would see that in our deployment, the previous local government deployment and also national, we have put criterion such as experience, we've put criterion on qualifications, because those are institutions. Having been a mayor of a city, I know that's a business. You're running a business. You need capacity to do that. So those are the efforts and the initiatives. Just now, we have assigned David Makura, who's the head of political education, to work also with the Veterans League to develop a program, for all branches before they go to elections. And the focus is what? We are established as the ANC historically to serve South Africans. And new members are expected to do community work before they are fully accepted. So those are some of the interventions that we've done. Are there still challenges? Yes. I think like in any organization there will be, but we want to move away from focusing on ourselves to focus on what the ANC was established for. And just on Saturday I was at a funeral and one of the bishops outlined it, said that yes, we are happy with what we have. Please attend to the issues that we are concerned about. So I think we need to preserve the progress, to celebrate the progress that we've made, to celebrate the tenacity of South Africans and the ability of South Africans to converse on how to move forward together, especially on very, very chronic problems that we have, like issues of corruption, issues of GBV, and issues of a sluggish economy.
Okay, speaking of corruption, because South Africans, and I want to try and make this practical. So when we talk about renewal, that means you take consequence management seriously.
Yes.
Like let's take the State Capture Commission, for instance. There were many names that were mentioned there. Some of them, your own leaders, but they're still there. So as a party, how do you then explain that you still have people still very much in their positions, even though you know what was revealed at the State Capture Inquiry? I remember there was a time, I don't know if it was Jeff Khadebe, who was assigned with ensuring that they look at the report and see which ANC leaders have been implicated and deal with it. I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong. But whatever happened to that?
That report was finally processed and presented to the disciplinary committee. I don't think there's any matter that we have left unattended, and I'm aware that some of those implicated are now in court to try and have the findings reviewed. So it's not that nothing was done, and some, as I've said, if you look at the then sitting president, would resolve that he must recuse himself and face those allegations against him. And we finally expelled him and also expelled even a sitting SG. So it was during those processes as well that we've done that.
Okay, I've got some follow-ups questions on that, but we'll get to them after this break. It's 23 minutes now after 10 o'clock. We're having a conversation with the ANC Treasurer General, Dr. Gwen Ramokgopa.
Aubrey Masango.
Weekday evenings,
8 to midnight.
What do South Africans who are looking to add value do tomorrow?
Support Proudly South African.
Does that mean labor, manufacturing?
Across.
Vusi you are xenophobic.
No. I have nothing against anybody else's country. I just love mine. The second, when one of us fails, give grace and criticize in private so you help the other person grows. And then the third, stop seeing your politicians as rock stars. They are here to do the job for you. You are not there to ululate for them when they arrive at the stadium.
Aubrey Masango.
8 to midnight on 702.
702.
Outsurance is simply the best at raising their own bar. Outsurance scored 9.99 on the Hello Peter Trust Index and a near 5-star rating on Google reviews, and have outperformed their personal best on the number of complaints referred to the Ombudsman per 1,000 claims. Switch to the insurer that keeps raising the bar. Call 08600 60,000 or visit outsurance.co.za today. You always get something out. Licensed insurer and FSP. T's and information online.
Two iconic South African acts, one unforgettable stage. Jeremy Loops and Ladysmith Black Mambazo present Echoes Between Us. Live at the Teatro at Monte Casino on 19 and 20 September. Experience this once-in-a-lifetime collaboration of rhythm, harmony, and heritage with these exclusive shows. Tickets on sale now from Web Tickets. Proudly supported by 702 and 947.
SPAR brings you Super Savings. Get 2 kg Tastic long grain, parboiled, brown or soft absorbing rice assorted for $34.99. Save 10 Rand with SPAR rewards. Or 2 litre SPAR sunflower or canola oil for $69.99 with SPAR rewards. Plus, you could win your share of 6 million Rand in instant cash. Price is valid until 7 September 2025 while stocks last. T's and C's apply.
Whenever you hear deep in the heart and art of jazz, think Sia Makuzeni with the big band, Jasmine Horn, Alun Wad, The Baylor Project, Jose James sings Badu, Umusangare, Esperanza Spalding, Michelle Dugiocello, Elaine, Trezo, Munei, Mondli Ngobo, and many other spectacular icons. Think Standard Bank Joy of Jazz Festival, 4 stages at the Santon Convention Center, 26th, 27th and 28th September, and take me there. Book via Ticketmaster.
One brave decision made today can lead to a brand new tomorrow. This Thursday on 702 Drive with John Pellman, we'll hear how the courage of one teenager met the compassion of the right people and made the seemingly impossible possible. Catch this inspiring conversation made possible by the Discam Foundation on Thursday on 702 Drive with John Pellman. Remember, every swipe of your Discam or Discam Baby City Benefit card supports initiatives that change lives across South Africa. Discam Foundation, caring for the community. Every swipe counts.
You're with Clement Manyathela.
702. Let's walk the talk.
It's 26 minutes now after 10 o'clock. We're in conversation with Dr. Gwen Ramokgopa, who's the ANC Treasurer General. You can join this conversation as well by calling us on 011-883-0702. If you prefer to send us a WhatsApp voice note, you can do so on 072-702-1702. I'll get to your questions in a moment. Dr. Ramokgopa, I want to ask about what are you seeing on the ground as an organization? I mean, there are recent polls that are suggesting that you are further declining. And of course, we can ask questions about how objective those polls are. But what are you picking up on the ground, especially when you look at even by-elections, for instance? Are you recovering ground at all?
Clement, objectively, I think if you look at the 2024 elections, in those areas of stronghold of the ANC, not many people went out to vote. So the voter turnout was low. And we've acknowledged that. And secondly, we also have engaged with our communities, especially through branches and through regions and all that, to identify the areas that need to be improved. But we also appreciate that in regions like Vembe and in some areas in the Eastern Cape, where there is recognition of a visible improvement, the ANC has done well, I think, in the other 5 provinces. The biggest challenge is in the metros and big towns. And we also think that it is also because of the issue of the unemployment, the economic problems that we have. And some of the voters told us in our faces during campaign that for the ESCOM problems, they still are not sure whether this is real improvements or it is a gimmick for us to get their votes. So they did tell us that they will not go out and vote. But we hope that with the resolutions of the electricity problems that are there, with the additional efforts that we're making on issues of water, the voters will have confidence again. So we acknowledge that the vote and the confidence of the people should not be taken for granted, and it's a continuous effort to ensure that we are responsive.
What are some of the biggest issues you pick up? You mentioned ESCOM and load shedding now, but would you say that's really been the biggest challenge in as far as people's trust is with the ANC? What are the key challenges that you are getting? So when you are campaigning or you're on the ground, and people that are unhappy with the ANC, what issues do they raise with you apart from power cuts?
First and foremost, let me say the biggest three, let's say the big three. It's the sluggish economy, families who have spent no effort to have their children educated, and many with state support, which they appreciate, are still unemployed. So youth unemployment is by far one of the biggest challenge. So the economy itself, that is not inclusive and that is not job creating. The second issue is the issue of crime, corruption, including gender-based violence and femicide. And the third issue is just basic service delivery, responsiveness to when there are, like electricity affected households, as well as small businesses. I mean, just imagine if a woman was a makwenya go high and then but ahona electricity. They don't have coal stoves anymore. So it affected many companies, big and small. The big companies laid off because they couldn't afford to have disruptions and still keep employees. And the small companies, businesses and traders also were impacted. The issues of water in rural areas, and I think those are the three big ones.
But they've been the three big issues. Can we agree? Like 10 years ago, unemployment was still a big issue. Crime and corruption was still a big issue. Service delivery was still a big issue. To this day, when you look at the Auditor General's report and the mismanagement at local government, what does that say about the organization when the same issues that were big 10 years ago are still big today, and you've been in charge throughout?
Yeah, it shows that we are really a society in transition. And how long will transition take? We need to continuously be together. We need to be more together than apart. And especially that sometimes even new problems emerge, like COVID. Who would have anticipated would have such a huge disruption also of the economy. But we're happy that with the management, we were able to contain the COVID pandemic. Those who have parted because of that, may their souls be blessed. But we have emerged as a nation. So we must refocus on working together to indeed deal with these challenges until we resolve them. I don't want to come across as if we are condescending or insensitive. However, we have been a divided nation for over 3 centuries, 300 years, where the majority was deliberately underdeveloped, oppressed, and in a way presented to be servants of the minority, and where the economy was not looked at in its totality, when participation was not there. So, and as I've said at the beginning, let's look at the progress that we have made and be able to embrace it. I've seen and I've engaged, especially in the PBF, many young people that are making it economically, but there are still few compared to the challenge.
I'm going to give you an opportunity to continue, explaining that in a moment. I just want to go to the latest in Eyewitness News headlines because I'm late now. Mr. Zulu, good morning.
Thanks, Clement. Good morning. Former ANC spokesperson Pule Mabe and his wife are back in the Palm Ridge Magistrates Court today, where they are facing charges of fraud and corruption. The couple, together with 5 co-accused, including Mabe's cousin, face multiple counts of money laundering and contravention of the Public Finance Management Act. These charges stem from an irregular 27 million rand tender awarded in 2017 to Mabe's Enviromobi company to provide 203 wheeler motorbikes for waste pickers in Ekurhuleni. Some families from Tsutsumani in Alexandra want alternative accommodation after the city demolished their homes. The Metro says it's been in a long battle with the residents who have illegally built 7 structures on power lines, water pipes and sewage systems. The demolition were ordered by Ward Councillor Defora Padu, who claims residents were warned before action was taken. And US President Donald Trump is expected to host a meeting today on post-war plans for Gaza. His envoy, Steve Witkoff, spoke during a TV interview with Fox News about a plan for a day after in Gaza, referencing the end of Israel's war that has killed more than 63,000 Palestinians. Trump stunned the world earlier this year when he suggested the US should take control of the Gaza Strip, clear out its 2 million inhabitants and build seaside real estate. And those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 11 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Well, heading towards Braamfontein, we've got an accident on the M1 North. It happened right at the double-decker section. Delays coming out of the Crown turn off. There's also queuing traffic heading towards the Crown interchange on the M2 West. This is just as you come out of Elof Street, so please be on the lookout there. And traveling in Devland, we've got delays on the Golden Highway. This is between the N1 and Union Avenue. This is due to roadworks as well as faulty traffic lights at that particular intersection. While traveling on the M1 South, some delays. This is between Corlett Drive and Houghton Drive. There's also queuing traffic along the N12 as well as the R24 West between Edenville Road and the Kilulis interchange. I'll have more updates. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
The Midday Report.
Weekdays
12 to 1.
The commission now being postponed. What are your thoughts on that as the EFF?
Look, I think we're not surprised that there's been this delay. And I think something we must all remember as people of South Africa right now is that Senzo Mkhunu, while all of this chaos is happening and this commission is suspended indefinitely, Senzo Mkhunu continues to draw a minister's salary. He continues to retain security that is retained by ministers. He continues to stay in a ministerial house because on his special leave, none of these are going to be revoked.
So now Tambo.
The Midday Report
with Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
On the 20th and 21st of September, the DSTV Delicious International Food and Music Festival, powered by Lotto Star, brings you the flavor, the music, and the vibe. With international stars, South Africa's top performers, delicious food from local artisans, and fashion that turns heads. It's the ultimate heritage weekend experience. Gather your friends on Saturday. Make it a family picnic day on Sunday. Join interactive cooking demos, explore vibrant art, and celebrate 30 years of DSTV bringing entertainment to Africa. One ticket gives you access to it all. Visit ticketmaster.co.za for more on deliciousfestival.com.
Hi everyone, I'm Dean McPherson, the Minister of Public Works and Infrastructure. Since I was appointed just over a year ago, we've laid a firm foundation in the department, and after tabling our 7.6 billion rand budget for growth, we're now turning plans into action. That means that we're moving government departments into our own state-owned buildings to save you billions of rands in rent. We're unlocking public land to build affordable housing, create shelters for victims of gender-based violence, and to boost food production. We're also tackling corruption head-on without fear or favor. And we're giving young South Africans real opportunities through a reformed EPWP program that focuses on skills and long-term jobs. And this is only the beginning. With your support, we're building a capable and professional department that delivers infrastructure, creates jobs, and puts public assets to work for the public good. The best is yet to come because we're building a better country for you, brick by brick.
Breathe in, insurance. Breathe out, pineapple. In, insurance. Breathe out, pineapple. Again. In, insurance. Out, pineapple. Again and again. Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP.
702.
The Clement Manyathela Show.
Let's walk the talk.
20 minutes before 11 o'clock. I'm going to come to your WhatsApp voice notes in a moment on 072-702-1702 as we continue this conversation with Dr. Gwen Ramokgopa, who's the ANC Treasurer General. Before I go to these calls and voice notes at TG, can I ask you to you were talking about the transition period that you say we are on and the years that we've spent being divided. I just want you to finish up that point and then we'll get to the voice notes.
Yes, I was also on issues of employment. We are now in a new era of a digital economy where the ICTs are also crucial for new skills and all that. So that's part of the transition. In terms of crime and corruption, I think we've had to also tighten the legislative framework, including the grey listing, to trace money so that we close the loops of corruption. We must remember that there's a corrupter and the corruptee, and both in private sector and also in public sector. And on basic services, yes, some say electricity is because we expanded very quickly to cover rural areas and all that. But I want to conclude by saying
didn't prepare
we couldn't
infrastructure properly for electricity,
especially maintenance.
We didn't do maintenance, but we
yes.
also didn't expand the infrastructure. We just took it as it is, which was servicing a few people, and we thought it's going to service the whole of South Africa as the population was growing.
Especially at the generation side. I think it's issues of maintenance, and but you remember the Kusiles were also implemented during this
and
period.
The money was stolen there.
And all that.
That's why there were delays.
And all that. So what I'm saying is that there has been work done. There has been progress in other areas. And if this question could be asked, could we have done more? And the answer that I would give is yes, we could have done more. Mm-hmm. And there are areas where we could have done better. Yeah. And this is the moment of the renewal that we're also focusing on to do more and to do better.
I hope you get the point I'm trying to make when as you explain what happened with Kusile, and I say there was a lot of corruption at Kusile. The reason we are where we are now is because the government at the time failed to heed the warnings that were given that we need to look at our infrastructure, expand it, but also maintain it. We didn't do anything about that. And then when you've got Kusile, there are overruns that cost more money because there are people who just want to steal. So even as you try to resolve situations, there are people who are finding opportunities to steal. When, though, TG, are we going to stop looking at what has happened in the past? I mean, I don't want to in any way minimize the impact of colonialism, the impact of apartheid, but surely at some point we can't be going back to we have endured years of, and therefore that explains why we are where we are now. We need to be able to say over the last 10, 30 years, this is what we've been able to do, or this is what we have failed to do, or this is what we should have been able to do. Because it looks like we keep going back there, but you've been in charge for 30 years. What have you been able to do in the 30 years, and what do you think you can do better in the 30 years? Because taking us back there then actually amplifies the failures more, because it means it's almost like you're looking for a scapegoat of, oh yeah, but the challenges were so big then. The reality is you've got 30 years. What have you done with the 30 years? Which is a lot of things, by the way. I don't think you've not done anything.
And we don't want to stay there, but we are saying acknowledge that there is progress that was done. There were hospitals like Steve Biko, which were not there, that were built during this period. There was no train, which was introduced during so let's not stay there. That's all I'm asking. But let's acknowledge that there was progress and there were mistakes that happened, and that's why we're strengthening and tightening the laws. That's why there were commissions, there are interventions. So let us as South Africans say, here are we. We've also just now had a budget agreed to in this GNU era. That budget presents an opportunity, almost R1 trillion of infrastructure. And there is a commitment that 40% thereof of the procurements should benefit women, this being also a Women's Month. That's one of the reasons why I'm here, to say that there are opportunities to be more resilient, there are opportunities to leverage, and I'm happy that one of the people who are on the National Dialogue team is Sia, who also, and other young people who are looking forward to really using also technology, using AI, using new ways of doing things to fast track the development and advancement of our country. So let's acknowledge the past, the colonial apartheid times, the 30 years, what we've achieved, the mistakes that happened, the interventions that are continuing, and let's also say, how do we move forward? Put more energy, taking lessons, and then say, how do we move forward?
Do you
and
think
this
you
is
have
the time.
taken the lessons as the ANC and even your deployees in government from the mistakes that have been made? Let me think of just a practical example. The president implemented, in fact, established a high-level review panel. I think at the time it was led by Dr. Sidney Mufamadi, to look at the State Security Agency because there was a lot of corruption happening there. In fact, the high-level review panel said that security agency, State Security Agency, was used to advance the interests of the former President Jacob Zuma. And the president was appalled, and he said, this is wrong. There are two people that were found to have done wrong by the high-level review panel, David Mahlobo, Arthur Fraser. That report speaks in problematic terms about these two people. What does the president do? Appoints them in his cabinet. I mean, how does that make sense? You're serious about renewal. You're telling us that you have established a high-level review panel to look at why the State Security Agency is almost collapsed and politicized. And the very people that the high-level review panel points at, you take them and you bring them to come into your cabinet. Arthur Fraser was made the Correctional Services Commissioner. David Mahlobo, Deputy Minister of Water and Sanitation at the time. How does that communicate to any South African that this is a president who's serious about accountability and renewal?
On the specific cases, those two specific cases, we can revert back to you. But the point that also would like to make, for instance, there was a report that was released on the progress made on the state capture. You asked me more about those who are in the ANC. The National Prosecuting Authority, for instance, has released progress per area from the Bosasa case, from the Transnet case, from the South African Airways, SABC, ESCOM that you've also talked about. So there are interventions. In terms of the two individuals that you have mentioned, you also need to appreciate that there has to be processes and also, reasonable doubt or beyond reasonable doubt that indeed they have acted in this way or that way. But I will certainly revert back to you on that. And Mahlobo was one of those that had to go to the NDA. And indeed, we were appreciating that the NDA indicated that the processing of that case was delayed. So it's not that there hasn't been any intervention. There are those that have not come through, and I don't necessarily want to mention names, but I think you and me are aware that there are those that didn't
And
get
to be
back
clear,
to cabinet.
I don't expect you to answer for the president. I'm just
Yes.
giving you that as an example that, like, the stuff that happens that is just so crazy, like it doesn't make sense. It can't be justified. And I've had the president, by the way, in this studio, and I asked him the same question. And there's really no answer because at some point it feels like, oh, I'm doing this for political reasons. But then you can't come to South Africans and say, I'm serious about renewal, I'm serious about accountability. And then you've spent so much money hiring Sidney Mufamadi and a team to go look at the State Security Agency, and they come and tell you Clement is a problem, and you say, Clement, come, be my deputy minister, be my correctional services commissioner. It just doesn't make sense. And I'm just mentioning to you that these are the things South Africans look at and say, clearly this party is not serious about accountability, because if you are, and you spend a lot of money looking at an agency, and then it shows that people have done wrong, at the very least, don't touch them, don't bring them in your cabinet. Allow the process to unfold where they can answer for themselves. But when you bring Arthur Fraser as a correctional services commissioner, knowing what he's done, it just boggles my mind. Can you share with us, TG, about the state of the party's finances? Because there have been issues around salaries that are not being paid at some point. Where are you now in terms of your finances? Have you managed to stabilize that?
I would prefer not to discuss the finances of the ANC because I don't think it is necessary. I thought I was also here to deal with the issues of this being a Women's Month and also looking at how we can continue ensuring that we enforce the regulations, the laws that are there, and we develop programs and mobilize women and society in general and men in general.
But TG, you're the Treasurer General of the ANC. How
yes.
do you not want to talk about... I mean, I'll ask Sinazu, that's my producer. I don't think, if I wanted to talk about women issues, I don't think, when you are here as a TG, I really want to talk to you about ANC issues, finances of the ANC. I don't expect you to get into details, of course, but I wouldn't invite a senior leader like you to come and minimize you to just talk about women's issues. I wouldn't do that.
Well, I always say when you go to church, I go and serve the public through the ANC. I do many other things, including being a gender activist, including teaching at University of Pretoria Health and all that. So it's not minimizing, not to talk about other things. But in terms of, I was still giving a background to why I would not like to talk about the finances, because we would like to be more outward focused and serve the public other than be inward focused. But all I can say is that we have worked very hard to stabilize the finances, and we are stable, and also we need to work even harder to achieve our mandate for sustainability.
Okay, I'm satisfied with that, because that's all. There are people, there are South Africans who work for the ANC. They listen to the show.
Yes.
They call in and say, I don't know if I'm going to get paid. They used to call in then. So my job here is to also ask, okay, when I have a TG of the ANC, I'll ask whether the finances are stabilized. So I'm satisfied with that. I don't expect you to get into the details. We're going to take a quick ad break. When we come back, there are some questions coming from some of our listeners. We'll play them on the WhatsApp line, 072-702-1702. It's 9 minutes before 11.
Ready, jet, go! 2 fully paid trips to the Abu Dhabi Motor Racing Spectacular must be won in the thrilling new JetX competition exclusive to Hollywood Bets. An unforgettable experience awaits on one of the fastest circuits on the planet, with the world's top drivers battling for supremacy. To stand a chance to win, bet 10 Rand or more on JetX. 1 million Rand in cash is also up for grabs. Hollywood Bets. Fly higher with our multiplier. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
The South African Future Trust Summit's Premium Entrepreneurial Showcase returns to the Sandton Convention Centre on the 5th and 6th of November, bringing together entrepreneurs with bold ideas and big ambition. Come and witness the big pitch, where our 10 finalists will compete for the coveted $1 million business investment. Join masterclasses with industry experts who will share valuable knowledge on relevant topics and seize the opportunity to pitch your business ideas to leading investors. Don't miss out. Limited seats are available. Book yours now at summit.southafricanfuturetrust.org in partnership with 702.
Start thinking about your future degree. The IIE MSA campus in the West Rand is hosting an open day on Saturday, 30 August. Meet our academics to discuss the IIE bachelor and postgraduate degrees in a wide range of study areas. Explore the largest private higher education campus in South Africa and experience the exciting student life. For more info, visit iiemsa.co.za. IIE MSA is a leading brand of the Independent Institute of Education, a registered higher education provider.
702.
The Clement Manyathela Show.
Let's walk the talk.
7 minutes before 11 o'clock. Let's go straight to your WhatsApp voice notes on 072 702 1702.
Hi, Clement, and good day to the Treasurer. I just would like to know, why is it that the ANC still acts as if the DA is their enemy and not their co-governing partner? Why is it that they don't realize that they actually need each other? I would ask John Steenhuisen the same question, by the way, and by no means putting the blame solely on the ANC. But my gosh, I wish they would just like grow up and come together and realize that they need each other in order to, advance the interests of the country, that we need them in order to make this GNU work. Why do they act like they are enemies? When are they going to mature?
Morning, Clement and the team, and to your guest. For me, what I'm going to say to the ANC is that I don't think they get it, like what's happening to the people on the ground. Because I'm listening and I can hear what you're saying. It's not true, because I am from Limpopo and I am 37. Ever since I've been in Limpopo, there's never been water. We used to have water in a communal area, where you go to the street and you get water, you push with a wheelbarrow, you go home. And when I was growing up, during the election, the ANC would make sure that that time the water would flow so that the people could vote for them. And then after, the water will stop. And then when I started working, I decided that I am going to have a water tank. There's no way I'm voting for the ANC. No way, no way, no way. Never.
Hi, Clement. It's Joe here. Can you please just ask your visitor there, what is ANC saying about porous borders, illegal immigrants in this country? Don't they probably see that this is affecting the people on the ground? Why is it not part of the priority for ANC to really look at this immigration situation seriously and address it?
Yeah, TG, there was a question about the DA, ANC and coalition and the issue of porous borders.
Thank you very much, Clement, and thanks for the inputs. I think the outcome of the 2024 elections created a situation where there is no majority party, and the decision of the ANC was to think beyond itself, its narrow focus as a political party, more as a party at the service of South Africans, and we opened up to work with all parties. So, and that's exactly what we committed to do, to put the interests of South Africans first. So we are calling on all political parties that are elected by citizens to put the interest of citizens first, and that we should collaborate to advance our country. The issue of the water in Limpopo, we are aware that in areas where we had made progress, there's also regression. Either because maybe lack of experience, also sometimes corruption, delays in building dams and all that. And one of the cases, and we certainly are working on that, and I'm aware that the president has launched some of the dams that were delaying in Limpopo. So we will certainly focus much more on that. It's one of our priorities. If you remember, eThekwini also had a problem where there were gangsters, what we call water tankers. I think Naledi also spoke about that. And we intervened to establish a more effective leadership. And I think you can agree that eThekwini has turned around. So even where there is, new and emerging problems, the intervention should work. And we are aware that there are many areas where we need to deal with this. I'm deployed to the Buffalo City, and water is also a matter that we are working with the National Ministry to deal with it. Okay. Joe talks about porous borders. You'd recall that the Border Management Police were established about maybe a year, 2 years ago, and there is collaboration amongst the security cluster to get this right. Indeed, it is a concern for all of us.
Okay. TG, thank you so much for making time for us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Clement, and thank you for the viewers and listeners.
It's a minute before 11 o'clock. The Standard Bank Joy of Jazz 2025 is diving deep into the heart and art of jazz. This year, the legendary jazz at Lincoln Center Orchestra with Winton Marsalis making a triumphant return to Johannesburg. So expect an unforgettable lineup with over 60 megastars gracing the stage, including Esperanza Spalding, Michelle Denjieshelo, Oma Sangarai, our very own Sia Makuzeni, Amanda Black, Vusi Mahlasela, Duduzo Makatini, the Benjamin Jafta Trio, and many more. Buy tickets to this incredible 3-day festival from the 26th to the 28th of September. Tickets are selling fast via Ticketmaster. Take me there.
Looking for the perfect place to book your next local holiday? Lekker has you covered with over 30,000 stays across South Africa. From luxury hotels, resorts and lodges to cozy self-catering homes, B&Bs and guest houses, Lekker has something for every taste and budget. Whether it's a quick getaway or an extended holiday, visit Lekker today and easily book your dream getaway on South Africa's leading accommodation app.
It all starts with FNB Private. Diversify your portfolio to grow your wealth. Gain global exposure through shares or unit trusts on the FNB app. Tap into international investments and tax-efficient offshore trusts to build your legacy. Unlock invaluable with FNB Private. Help changes everything. FNB, a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized FSB and credit provider. FNB International Trustees, FNB IT registration number 3080. Licensed by the Guernsey Financial Services Commission to conduct fiduciary business. T's and C's apply.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. The fraud and corruption case against former ANC spokesperson Pule Mabe and his wife has been postponed to February next year. The couple, together with 5 co-accused, including Mabe's cousin, face multiple counts of money laundering and contravention of the Public Finance Management Act. These charges stem from an irregular 27 million rand tender which was awarded in 2017 to Mabe's Enviromobi company to provide 203 wheeler motorbikes for waste pickers in Ekurhuleni. They appeared in the Palmbridge Magistrates Court a short while ago. State Prosecutor Magdalene Montwedi McLean says some of the accused have made representations which are yet to be disclosed.
As a result, the state is still dealing with those representations. They are very big, as voluminous, that they are quite detailed. And from Mr. Alexander, Your Worship, the state is busy with getting the information that has been requested.
Some families from an informal settlement in Alexandra want alternative accommodation after the city of Johannesburg demolished their homes. The Metro says it's been in a long battle with residents in Tsutsumani who have illegally built 7 structures on power lines, water pipes and sewage systems. The demolition were ordered by Ward Councillor Tifo Rapadu, who claims residents were warned before action was taken. Tandoluhle Ngobo reports.
Yesterday was a sight for sore eyes as demolitions were conducted on 7 homes at Extension 7. Heaps of rubble spilled onto the road, completely covering what was once a sidewalk. Between the destroyed homes and the rubble, a deep line has now formed where a thick water pipe was once situated. Residents created makeshift bridges using their torn down doors and burglar bars to be able to cross into their houses. This while trying to load up the little belongings they were able to salvage from the demolitions onto a moving truck. One of the occupants, Nontsikelelo Ndlovu, says the ward councillor came unexpectedly earlier this week and started to tear down their homes.
More than 8 years. We have been living here for more than 8 years. We are not fighting, but why did they leave us to continue living on top of the municipal servitude for all these years without telling us?
She says now that she's been robbed of her home with nowhere else to go, the least the city could do is supply them with temporary accommodation. Tandoluhle Ngobo, Eyewitness News.
In the Eastern Cape, thousands of flood survivors in the province are still waiting to be rehoused, with government confirming only 25 families have so far been moved into temporary units. The June floods left more than 4,700 people homeless and destroyed hundreds of houses across the province, mainly in Mthatha. Officials say permanent housing remains a long-term project, but with the current relocation, only a stopgap measure. Mongezi Koko reports. details.
The provincial government says the 25 families moved this week are the first of many to be housed in temporary residential units, basic two-room structures designed to offer short-term relief rather than a lasting solution. Each family will receive a 2,700 Rand voucher from SASSA to help them settle, but authorities admit permanent homes will take much longer to deliver. Spokesperson Kusela Ranki.
This intervention forms part of government's ongoing commitment to ensuring the resettlement, safety, dignity and well-being of communities.
Around 120 similar units have already been occupied in Umnquma municipality, but thousands of people remain stranded in community halls and churches where conditions are crowded and many say they have lost everything. Mungi Ziko Go, Eyewitness News.
And US President Donald Trump is expected to host a meeting today on post-war plans for Gaza. Trump's envoy Steve Witkoff spoke during a television interview with Fox News about a plan for a day after in Gaza, referencing the end of Israel's war that has killed more than 63,000 Palestinians. Trump stunned the world earlier this year when he suggested the US should take control of the Gaza Strip, clear it out its 2 million inhabitants and build seaside real estate. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu praised the proposal, which was heavily criticized by many European and Arab states. The war in Gaza was sparked by Hamas's October 2023 attack on Israel, which resulted in the deaths of more than 1,200 people. Witkoff did not elaborate on the plan he touted yesterday, but said he believed that people would see how robust it is.
We think that we're going to settle this one way or another, certainly before the end of this year. Hamas is now signaling that they're open to a settlement. The Israelis, when they announced this operation, also announced at the same time that they were funding $600 million of aid to go into Gaza. And in addition to that, they also announced that they were open to continuing discussions with Hamas.
Gold is trading at $3,382.42 an ounce. The rand is at 17.64 to the dollar, 23.74 to the pound, 20.51 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $67.32 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got an accident in Houghton. It's a major one. It's on the M1 North, right after Houghton Drive. It's causing heavy traffic volumes coming out of Empire Road. So please be on the lookout if you're traveling on the Mark 1 North. Well, on the N12 West as well as the R24 West, we've got delays between Edenville Road and the Gilulis interchange.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng. The temperatures will peak at highs between 26 and 29 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour, the fraud and corruption case against former ANC spokesperson Pule Mabe and his wife has been postponed to February next year.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Gauteng's greatest awards at 702 and Yoko. Let's celebrate excellence, one vote at a time. Go to primemediaplus.com now to vote for the finalist that makes Gauteng feel like home.
You're with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
Let's walk the talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856.
92.7 and 106 FM.
Minutes after 11 o'clock. Dumelang, Sanbonani, Dimachero Neabudi. Welcome to the third and final hour of the Clement Manyathela Show. Thanks for staying with us here on 702. Time now for our Listener's Choice feature.
Burning questions.
Insightful answers.
Listener's Choice.
With Clement Manyathela.
So, on our Listener's Choice feature this morning, we are talking about human trafficking. One of our listeners has asked that we discuss how prevalent the trafficking of South Africans is abroad. And earlier this year, we had 23 South Africans returning home after they thought they were taking up promising jobs overseas, only to discover that they had been lured into a human trafficking syndicate. And often, many people get offered work in call centers, at restaurants in Thailand, but instead they find themselves trafficked across borders. Like, for instance, in the case of Thailand, you can be trafficked into Myanmar, stripped of your passport and forced into online scams under slave-like conditions. And there are many people that have endured years of exploitation before a coordinated rescue mission can finally, bring them back home. So we need to be very, 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 very cautious, right? Often you've got a few people being rescued, but there are many other people that are still living under brutal conditions and facing intimidation and torture and forced labor. In fact, South Africans, you would probably argue, are being targeted for these fake jobs abroad even more. And when they arrive, they soon find out that these jobs are nothing but human trafficking syndicates. I mean, there are high levels of unemployment in this country, and that's part of the reason why such jobs become more attractive, especially to young South Africans. Have you ever been a victim of an international job scam? And how do you identify an international job scam? Do you know what to be cautious of? Are there sort of jobs you wanted to take and you already soon picked up that something is wrong here? I want you to share your experiences with us on 011-883-0702. The WhatsApp line is 072-702-1702. Emma van der Walt is the founder of Brave to Love, which is an anti-human trafficking organization. And Emma will be guiding us through this conversation. Thank you so much for your time, Emma. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Clement. It's wonderful tuning in this morning.
How big is this problem of South Africans being trafficked abroad through these fake job adverts? And I don't know if you've seen recently, we've seen influencers also talking about possible opportunities and Russia, and you've got our government coming out and saying, hey, be very careful, because some of these end up being, just an opportunity to lure young people, and then they get exploited. How big is this crisis?
Yeah, so Clement, I think we first need to look back in the history of South Africa. We know a few years back we had South Africans that were lured for teaching jobs in China, and South Africa had to do repatriation because of the false jobs on that side and the trafficking that happened. And then it was a little bit quiet for a while, but currently there's a very, very, very strong trend of recruiting Africans and also South Africans. And we need to ask why South Africans. And there's a few reasons when looking at the different recruiters that are, which are traffickers that are recruiting South Africans. So firstly, obviously mentioning the Myanmar case, Thailand, specific ages, looking at young adults. Unemployment is very high in South Africa, and they're looking for people that can speak English and are computer literate. That's their target market. And then it's very easy because South Africans are vulnerable because we need income. We are struggling with poverty, and they're looking for abroad for possible opportunities. And then, unfortunately, the reality of getting there to Thailand and a rude awakening of realizing I am trafficked now into a scamming compound run by Chinese mafia groups. Same with the Russia, with Russia, the recruitment currently happening, where the Global Initiative actually did a full report on this, where it's more looking at labor trafficking, but we know Russia is extremely high, and China on the BRICS countries on trafficking, countries that are red flag countries for human trafficking.
So, and of course, many of us always assume that trafficking mainly involves, like, let's say, sex work, for instance. But these scams seem to be more focused on forced labor. So what are the different forms of trafficking that are taking place?
Yeah, very interesting question, because we've seen a very strong change in these trends because we firstly need to define what is human trafficking. We're looking at human slavery, and then we're looking at three phases. We're looking at the recruitment phase, transportation, and then the exploitation that takes place. So we work closely with the UNODC and the United Nations, and 4 years ago, we were at the Asia Anti-Trafficking Conference specifically focusing on Asia, because we know Asia is extremely high. And we met some experts on the field, and this was 4 years ago, where they started saying they saw these scamming compounds. Obviously, the Chinese, after COVID, started putting up all these scamming compounds, and they didn't realize there were victims inside. We thought it's criminals. Everyone's just scamming people out of their money. It's a criminal operation. But some of these victims started jumping out of these compounds, breaking their bones, and running for help. And that's how they realized that these people are actually behind a computer, forced into slavery. And this is where we talk about trafficking into criminality, where a victim is forced to do criminal activity against their will, threatened, violence involved. So we do see sex trafficking still very high on the radar. We know women and children are targeted, but labor trafficking, I think after COVID, is definitely picking up very strong, and a lot of men are becoming victims as well. And then obviously the labor trafficking and criminal into criminality, and there are more forms of trafficking.
So I do want you maybe to share more with us about the rescued South Africans in Myanmar. What did they go through? I mean, how severe were the conditions that they endured?
Yeah, I think people don't always understand the reality, and I even get emotional even talking about it, because it's a human life, and it's real. It's people. It's our citizens that were there, and a lot of them had vulnerabilities of unemployment, and were recruited online through Facebook. Saw a Facebook ad saying, "Oh, a friend." They are even, and this is what we need to understand. There are South Africans that are criminal, that need to be criminally charged, because they are recruiting other South Africans into these scamming compounds. So a lot of them, firstly, you click on the ad, fill in your detail, and then immediately someone from the HR department will contact you, do a formal interview, telling you what the job is like, asking you questions, like a decent, organized interview. And then they say your passport needs to be ready. Once your passport is ready, we will pay for the flight ticket, your accommodation, everything is paid for to get you on the site, but you need to start as soon as possible. So, and then sometimes in 3 days, these victims are on the plane, paid for. They land in Bangkok, at Bangkok airport. We do see that there are people from Thailand that are involved in this operation. Greeted by a lady with their names on. They are traveled with a very luxury vehicle to a hotel, 8 hours drive. Once they get to the hotel, they get time to rest, order whatever they want. And that's the moment after that, the trafficking starts, because then they are picked up by military type vehicles, guns, and then they are taken photos of as proof of life, and then they are smuggled over the border of Myanmar. And some of them even freak out at that point, saying, "Where am I going? I don't know where I'm going." They lose cell phone contact, and then they are introduced into the scamming compounds. You can't get out of these compounds. There are cameras everywhere. They are monitored. It's a military compound where the Chinese are actually renting from Myanmar military. And then the conditions, obviously, they are taught to scam, the living conditions of sleeping arrangement, everything. But then it's debt control, so you can never get out, because you need to pay these scammers a large amount of 50,000 rand or even more to free yourself out of, and these people don't have that money to get themselves out of the situation, and then they are bound to a 2-year contract or whatever, strict rules, not always access to medicine and needs, but most of all, it's the punishment. If they don't make their targets in they get sent to the military. They got threatened. Some of the men were beaten severely. They might be a little bit softer on the women, but there's physical violence involved. There's debt control. There's a psychological, and this is what we need to understand with trafficking. It's not always, although this is physical entrapment, but it's also psychological entrapment, where the victim feels that they cannot exit because they are threatened with imprisonment and beaten. So there's different strategies for control of the trafficker.
Yeah. So what do we need to be careful of, Emma? I'm just getting goosebumps just you explaining those conditions. Because there are many South Africans that are unemployed. They're desperate for opportunities. So what are the red flags that people should look out for when they see these online job ads?
Correct. I think we firstly need to flag opportunities to Thailand because they're targeting South Africans because we only need a travel visa to go for 3 months to Thailand. And so you need a work permit to go work in Thailand. And this is what the Thailand government is also saying. So that's firstly that we need to flag Thailand at this point. So because there are a lot of South Africans still being recruited that are going over. And once again, I will not, even as an individual, I will not take a job on social media. It's just a risky platform to go abroad and just leave everything behind because you are vulnerable and traffickers will try to isolate their victims. It's not always a kidnapping. They use coercion and grooming and manipulation to get the person. And it seems so legit. We've seen even modeling agencies recruiting girls. And this is where the influencers are coming in, using these platforms to build trust because you trust this influencer. Build the trust. Even with the modeling, it's always someone that you might trust to get you into an isolated position where you cannot ask for help. And even these South Africans in the compound, they do not have phone access. They need to hide their phones. Their phones are being monitored 24 hours. They can't reach out for help. It's really a slavery condition. So the Human Traffic Hotline, and this is very important, they actually have a service where they can verify job opportunities that are abroad. They are an international organization, so the South African Human Traffic Hotline. They connect with 821, international anti-trafficking organization, where you can verify to make sure that you are safe before going across border. I know I've recently dealt with a case of a modeling opportunity of a girl wanting to go to Dubai or Saudi Arabia. These are red flags where we need to make sure, what are we looking for and what's going to happen when you get there.
Sure. Yeah, it's 21 minutes after 11 o'clock. Let's take a quick ad break. When we come back, if you've got any questions for Emma van der Walt, my guest this morning, you can send us a WhatsApp voice note on 072-702-1702 or call us on 011-883-0702.
John Perlman. Weekday afternoons,
3 to 6.
You are critical of the decision taken by the minister and the action. Do tell us why.
The minister has sought to try and obfuscate the process. She appointed a solely unqualified person, Professor Gregory Davids, in my opinion, to chair the board.
Right.
You look at the current board, there are people with chairing experience, industry experience. Here you get an academic with no substantive board experience and no industry experience. And she doesn't appoint a deputy chair, John, which is the first time SAT's never had a deputy chair.
David Frost.
John Perlman.
3 to 6 on 702.
At the heart of global conversations shaping the future, Africa's voice matters more than ever. As Africa's largest bank by assets and lead sponsor of the B20 Summit, Standard Bank Group is proud to spotlight the continent's growth, partnerships, and potential on the world stage. Through informed dialogue and powerful partnerships, Standard Bank is driving sustainable growth where it matters most. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
My friend always says, not my problem, bro. But what if it was your sister, your mother, your daughter? Gender-based violence is everyone's problem. And good men don't look away. If you see abuse, don't be silent. Report it. Call the SA Police on 10111 or the GBVF Command Center on 0800 428 428. Strong men protect. Strong women stand up. Together, we can end gender-based violence and femicide. Break the vicious cycle. Act now. A message from Government Communications, the GCIS.
Choose your health. Choose Clicks. Choose to speak to our pharmacists who are available to answer your questions and assist you with your medication queries, prescription advice, and more at your convenience. Choose expert healthcare advice. Choose our pharmacy chat service. Request a call back at clicks.co.za or inquire on the Clicks app today. T's and C's apply. Choose your health. Choose Clicks. Feel good? Pay less.
The 12th edition of the DSTV Delicious International Food and Music Festival, powered by Lotto Star, is here. Experience unbeatable vibes this heritage weekend at the Kyalami Grand Prix Circuit. on the 20th and 21st of September. On Saturday the 20th, catch Don Toliver, Questa, Inkabi, Zwezwe, and more. Then on Sunday the 21st, don't miss the iconic Lauryn Hill on her 25th anniversary tour with special guests Wycliffe Jean, YG Mali, and Zion Mali with Lira. Mandisi Jan, G, Zoe Mudicha also performing on the Sunday. Tickets at Ticketmaster. The DSTV Delicious International Food and Music Festival, powered by Lottostar and proudly supported by 702.
Burning questions.
Insightful answers.
Listener's choice.
With Clement Manyathela.
24 minutes after 11 o'clock, we're talking about the prevalence of the trafficking of South Africans abroad with Emma van der Walt. I've got your voice notes coming through, so let's start there.
Hi, Clement. On the topic of human trafficking, I want to know, does it apply to all countries in this world, or just certain countries? Because if you look at countries like Australia and you're interested in going to that country, is there a possibility of being human trafficked? I assumed, I don't know if I'm being naive, that there's no possibility because it's the first world country. And also, how do you avoid this problem then? Because how do you look for a legit agency from South Africa if you want to immigrate to countries like Australia? How do you get legit agencies? Because things are, a lot of people can just apply for jobs online, and it won't really be legit, and that's when you have problems like human trafficking, etc. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, Emma, is this mostly a crisis in first world countries?
So we're looking at a global scale. There are high-risk countries. Like I said, Southeast Asia are high-risk countries, but it's a global problem, and there's not one country that I can say that is not without victims. Even Australia, I've actually worked with Australians that specifically within the sex trade, commercial sex trade, that were trafficked, and also within South Africa, within Australia. So it's not necessarily, I think that the key is to make sure that we become knowledgeable on how to identify signs of trafficking and how to stand and fight together, because it's a global problem. It's not only South Africa, but we're looking at certain countries that are extremely vulnerable. And for instance, when we look at these trafficking compounds, one of the questions that I ask some of the NGOs on that side is, these recruiters, from which African countries are they recruiting most? And Ethiopia came up, Ethiopia and Burundi and some of those countries that are, there's conflict in the country. So, but then when we look at the USA, America is high on trafficking. Extremely high, but then once again, the South America with the cartels and operating their child trafficking. So it is a global problem. The human traffic tip report is a good indication if you want to learn more, because they actually rank the countries at tier 2 or tier 1, or what is the danger. So it's a human traffic tip report that comes out yearly, and that is a good indication to tell yourself, is this country a high-risk country or not? Or what is the government, and also that specific country, what is the government's response? Are they actually fighting it on a within the country?
And what do you think is our government response? Because I would imagine the collaborations also between government, NGOs, and international partners in fighting these syndicates then becomes important.
Yeah, correct. So South Africa, unfortunately, was downgraded to tier, I think it's tier 2, but we have stabilized it a little bit now. But once again, our government, our report for the TIP report has not been sufficient. We had to, our government needs to help give proper feedback on how many cases do we have, what is law enforcement doing. So my advice would be there definitely needs to be an international collaboration and strengthening with our networks, because the mandate still belongs to DPCI to investigate these cases. So we always fight it from a few angles, but the first is the investigating officers to make sure that we empower the human traffic units with resources, because there's not enough resources and not enough trained investigating officers on these cases, to make sure that we target the financial crimes that are surrounding these cases. So there definitely needs to be approach from government side, but then also what is our aftercare processes, and then as a country, the community does play a crucial role in whistleblowing and training the community and South Africans how to identify it and how to stay safe. We all have a responsibility in fighting human trafficking as an entire country.
Yeah, and for those who are lucky enough to be rescued, what kind of support, whether emotional, financial, psychological, like what kind of support do those survivors of trafficking need in order to rebuild their lives? And are there enough avenues for them to get that support?
Yeah, firstly, I would compliment the Department of Social Development. Specifically, we've been working with the Gauteng unit on trafficking, and they've really been making so much effort to support the victims from Myanmar. Obviously the victims don't always request some of the support, but they work closely with us as an NGO in making sure that if there's counselling needs, then we try to fill those needs. As Brave to Love, we actually run an e-hub, which we try start. It's an entrepreneurial program that we help these victims start up their own businesses, because if we need to eliminate the vulnerability of the economic place in the economy to actually generate income, so they don't fall victim again. So when it comes to labor trafficking, yes, there's always trauma around it, but with sex trafficking, there's always drug abuse, and the trauma for me is more severe, and the recovery process is longer, because you can just imagine some of these victims that we've been working with have been they were trafficked into the commercial sex trade with people as teenagers already. They were raped 10 times a day, forced to use drugs. So the severity of the trauma is really intense, and it's definitely a long-term recovery process. We do have very good safe houses, but these are all privately run by NGOs. The government needs to definitely supply more resources to these recovery programs. Unfortunately, a lot of times even their hands are sometimes, because they don't always have the financial means to support the victims to what they need. And then when we look at repatriation of international victims, where DIRCO needs to be involved in actually supplying the funding to get the victims back. Sometimes also that's a question, because there's not always funding from DIRCO's side to say, okay, do we have, but at least the 23 definitely DIRCO that supply the repatriation fee for that, which we're very grateful for. But the NGOs are trying to fill the gap where it's needed.
Okay. Emma, thank you so much. And thanks for the incredible work that you guys do at Brave to Love. I really appreciate you making time to speak to us about this issue. Emma van der Walt is the founder of Brave to Love. It's an anti-human trafficking organization. It's 11:31. Dali has the latest in Eyewitness News headlines. Hello.
Thanks, Clement. Good morning. Acting Police Minister Feroz Kachalia says the Interpol African Regional Conference takes place at a time when transnational crime has become a major concern for all governments across the globe. Kachalia has delivered the opening address at the conference, which is underway in Century City in Cape Town today. The SAPS says the gathering underscores South Africa's commitment to combating organised crime. The fraud and corruption case against former ANC spokesperson Bule Mabe and his wife has been postponed to February next year. The couple, together with 5 co-accused, including Mabe's cousin, face multiple counts of money laundering and the contravention of the Public Finance Management Act. And in the Eastern Cape, thousands of flood survivors in the province are still waiting to be rehoused, with government confirming only 25 families have so far been moved into temporary units at Maiden Farm. The June floods left more than 4,700 people homeless and destroyed hundreds of houses across the province, mainly in Mthatha. Those are the headlines. This EWN and more at midday or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by cars.co.za. Let's find what moves you. Amu, how are we looking?
Well, we've got an accident, Clement, on the M1 North. This is right near Houghton Drive. It's causing heavy delays coming out of the Kilani bends. So please be on the lookout there and drive with care. If you're traveling on the Mike 1 North, bumper to bumper traffic as well, heading towards the Braamfontein area. This is due to another accident scene, and traffic is piling up across many roads within the Amalgam area. Routes like Main Rift Road, Production Road, as well as the M2 West. So please, if you're traveling around the Amalgam, Fulsbeck and Mayfair areas, do expect delays along those routes. Otherwise, I am Amo Ramela. Karabujali will have your next traffic update at the top of the hour onwards. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Hey, Jim, what's wrong? Hi, Bob.
I'm just so confused. I'm trying to buy a car and I don't know where to stop.
Well, have you tried to... Cars.coza, cars.coza.
Have you tried to...
Cars.coza.
Sorry, we're trying to do an advert.
Whatever car you want to buy or sell, cut through the and just go to cars.coza and let's find what moves you. Cars.coza.
Okay, truck 7, that has 0 warning lights. Truck 8, it's just been serviced. I guess we're running like a well-oiled machine. Where would I be without My Way's comprehensive cover for my vans and trucks? Plus, cover for my customers' orders with goods and transit insurance. I guess we'll never know.
Visit myway.co.za or dial 0860 64 64 64 and get a quote today. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's, C's and standard rates apply. My Way. Live your way.
Ready, jet, go! 2 fully paid trips to the Abu Dhabi Motor Racing Spectacular must be won in the thrilling new JetX competition exclusive to Hollywood Bets. An unforgettable experience awaits on one of the fastest circuits on the planet, with the world's top drivers battling for supremacy. To stand a chance to win, bet 10 Rand or more on JetX. 1 million Rand in cash is also up for grabs. Hollywood Bets. Fly higher with our multiplier. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counselling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
The Checkers Hyper price drop is here. Save up to 40% on deals like pork value packs for only $56.99 per kilo, save 15%. Cross and Blackpool mayonnaise 750 grams, Orgo tomato sauce 700 ml, or Mrs. Ball's chutney 470 grams. Any 3 for 99 Rand, save 32 Rand. And House Brand 2-ply white toilet rolls 24 pack, 2 for 249 Rand, save 111 Rand. Deals valid until this Sunday, only at Checkers Hyper.
One brave decision made today can lead to a brand new tomorrow. This Thursday on 702 Drive with John Pellman, we'll hear how the courage of one teenager met the compassion of the right people and made the seemingly impossible possible. Catch this inspiring conversation made possible by the Discam Foundation on Thursday on 702 Drive with John Pellman. Remember, every swipe of your Discam or Discam Baby City Benefit card supports initiatives that change lives across South Africa. Discam Foundation, caring for the community. Every swipe counts.
The Sharing Space
on the Clement Manyathela Show.
702.
23 minutes before 12 o'clock. Time for the Sharing Space. And on the Sharing Space, we share our stories about stuff that really happened in our lives, whether at the office, at home, on holiday, when you were with your boo. And yeah, if the listener is asking for advice, whoever is sharing their story today with us, then please be kind enough to share some advice. If you have experienced something similar, I'm interested in you sharing your experiences as well. So today we've got an email. We'll read this email and then I'm going to go to your calls on 011-883-0702. Here we go. Hi, Clement and your listeners. I am a mother to a teenage girl who goes to a former Model C school in Johannesburg. I'm worried that she's facing pressure to present herself in a certain way at school because most of her age mates are doing so. Recently, there was a rugby match between her school and another school, and my daughter was crying, saying she wanted to go to the game because all the girls from her school were going to it. Some of the girls are dating the rugby players. I took her to the match, but I was shocked by how other girls showed up to the game. Some had very fancy and colorful braids, others were wearing labels, others were wearing makeup, and others had push-up bras on. They were also cheering for their boyfriends. My daughter and 2 of her friends were the most average-looking children there, and I do not allow her to wear makeup or colorful braids revealing outfits or expensive brands. I also do not allow her to date. She is just 15 years old, and I want her to enjoy being a child. But I'm worried that she seems to be under pressure because more and more times she's asking for small things like lipstick, revealing tops, for new and more daring hairstyles. She also brings boys up more often, so I suspect that she may have a crush on some boy. I've refused to allow all of these requests, but I'm now also feeling pressure because she seems to be unrelenting. I don't want her to grow resentful of me for not allowing her to do what her peers are doing, but I really feel like she's too young for these things. Am I being too strict with her? And should I allow her to do more of the stuff that her peers are doing? Please, could you ask your listeners what is the best thing to do? Caring mother. Okay. Whew. I think that probably a lot of you listening to us now are going through what this woman is going through with your children, your teenagers, to be clear. So this mother says her child is 15 years old, and the woman once took her child to this game, and she found the friends of her child, and she was shocked to realize that some of them had fancy and colorful braids, some were wearing labels, others were wearing makeup, others had push-up bras on, and they were there cheering for their boyfriends. So some of them were wearing revealing outfits, and now as a mother she's under pressure because she feels like that she's going to be hated by their daughter because the daughter wants to look like her friends at school, also wants to wear revealing clothes, also wants to put on makeup, wants to have these colorful braids. So she wants to know, what do I do? Also, she's talking more about boys. So clearly maybe her friends are also dating already. She's 15. And the mom wants to know, what do I do? Because I don't want the child to grow resentful of me. But also she goes to school and she's under pressure because her friends are doing these things that the mom doesn't allow her to do. What is your advice for this woman? I know that we grew up not liking some of us, not liking our mothers. But in hindsight, when you're much older, you realize that I'm actually glad that my mom was strict on 1 and 2 and 3 because I couldn't have turned out the way that I am today. But I also know that there are also ways that you can deal with issues, like have a conversation with your child as opposed to just want to take decisions for them. I wish there were conversations I had with my parents before decisions were taken on my behalf. But here's a story I want to share, and then I'm going to go to your calls and your WhatsApps as well. I recently went to also a certain private school recently, and because a child of my friend was playing rugby and we went to support him. And I honestly was surprised to find young girls with push-up bras, like their cleavage was showing. And you can tell these kids are like 13, 14. Their cleavage was so revealed, and then they had a lot of makeup on, and then there were these colorful braids as well, and then they were wearing like very revealing things, like very, very, very short skirts or pants. And I was just so shocked because I didn't know that actually, because I had not been in a school environment in a very long time. And I was like, and I came back and I was asking, like, do schools actually allow for that to happen? Because I do think at some point children are under pressure at schools. In fact, I met a guy at this, I don't want to mention the name of the school, but at this private school we went to, I met a guy who had brought his own daughter to come watch the rugby because the two schools were playing rugby. And this guy was sitting next to me, and then he says to me, oh, I brought my daughter here. And the daughter doesn't even go to that school. But the daughter and her friends seem to have probably boyfriends who were playing rugby at the school. So the dad is like, yo, my daughter was playing hockey in the morning. And then I picked her up from hockey and I've brought her to this game, even though she doesn't go to the school. And apparently in the car, the daughter changed into like fancy, proper clothes and put on makeup. You can tell that she was getting ready to go support her boo. And I was just like fascinated by that. And maybe I'm naive, right? But I didn't know that actually in the school environments, this is what normally happens. And I'm interested in your thoughts, really, and how as a parent you navigate what your child wants, because you want to allow them the creative freedom, like whatever, dress in whatever way you want to dress. You want to allow them to make their own decisions. But where do you draw the line? Like, when do you say no? That is too revealing, or that cleavage, you're still young, you're 13, you're 14, or that makeup is too much for you as a 15 or 14-year-old. How do you navigate that as parents? Rosanna, you're calling us from Greenstone. Good morning.
Hi. I wanted to say to that mom, her first point of call is to sit her daughter down and tell her that her friends are actually a bad influence, actually. Because I speak as a mom who also raised a teenage girl. And friends are very important to look at. As a mom, you get an instinct of who's a good influence and who wants to put you on the wrong path. She needs to be very open with her daughter. And I understand times have changed, that the girls are very forward today compared to when I raised my daughter. But the main thing is the mom must say to her child that she doesn't need to be in the brands and the new braids and colors and revealing clothes like all the others. She's her own person. She needs to be who she is. And the mom must be strict and say, sorry, no daughter of mine is going to be showing half her boobs and mini skirts and that. It just doesn't work in her home.
Okay, Rosanna says, take a tough stance there. Thank you for that, Rosanna. Bonnie in Midrand, what do you think?
Thanks, Clement. My view is that the first observation I've made is that the story is all about her. I don't want her to be going out with these girls. I don't want her to show cleavage. I don't want her. So it's all about her. So the other observation, one good one I made, is that at least she realizes that this daughter will resent her. At least she has realized that. So my suggestion is exactly as what the previous caller has said. She must have a sit down with the girl and have an open discussion with her. Because if she doesn't do that, the other thing I should have said before I come to the solution is that she must realize that is how bullying starts, by the way. She might end up being bullied, and she might end up losing herself. She'll have a low self-esteem. Because all her friends are doing this, they are that. So she must have a discussion with the girl, and then she must introduce some of the things, because not all of those things are really, So she must introduce the ones that are okay, bit by bit, in a discussion. She must discuss it with the child.
Talk to the child. I got you, Bonnie. Thank you so much for that. And because sometimes we're just so obsessed with wanting to also impose our way of life and how we were raised on our children, right? And not everything not every way that we were raised is actually healthy for us to adopt. But I love what Bonnie and Rosanna are saying, that have a conversation with your child. Just talk to her. Just figure out what's happening. Why do you want to do this? Is it because of pressure? These are the consequences of doing things because of pressure. Talk about boyfriends too. Like, open up that platform so that you know, what are you doing? Is there a boy you like? Okay, let's talk about it. What are you going to do? Because sometimes as a parent, you can stop these kids as much as you want, and they will respect you in the house. The minute they step out, they're going to do them. And you don't want them doing things in an unsafe way that would eventually end up harming them. Talk to your children.
Hi, Uncle Clement. My name is Pelo. I'm 16. And I think the mom should stick to her rules.
Good morning, Clement. This is Selma from Roodepoort. My dad did exactly the same. I know it was years ago in the 1970s, but he even said so. If a boy came calling and said, I want to take your daughter out, he said, no, she hasn't got her matric certificate yet. Until she has that, she is going nowhere. And today, I am very grateful. Otherwise, who knows? I might have also become an unmarried mother. Thanks for a lovely show. Bye.
Hi, Clement. My advice to the mother of a 15-year-old daughter is that she should protect her. The truth is, when she's older, she'll literally be thanking her mother for playing that role for her or holding that space for her. But she should protect her. Don't allow her to do all these things. Protect her, protect her, protect her.
Celebrate the arrival of spring with jazz from all corners at Nairok Sculpture Park in the Cradle of Humankind on the 7th of September, featuring Kujenga, Tandintuli, Lindas Kakani, and Sia Makuzeni. Nairok invites you to indulge in nature and art, exploring exhibitions on the rolling lawns and the meandering waterways, a perfect occasion for family and friends with curated culinary pleasures and refined bar offerings. Limited tickets are available from nairoksarts.com. Nairoks is a private, not-for-profit foundation to benefit the arts. All income is used to maintain the grounds, the artist residency program, and artist support.
Do you know what's hiding behind the colorful packaging of unhealthy food? Big food companies target children with unhealthy packaged foods that hide high levels of sugar, salt, and fat, which could lead to heart disease, diabetes, and hypertension. But the truth is hidden from consumers. Front of package warning labels are a proven solution to help consumers make informed decisions. The government must act now. We have the right to know what's in our food. Demand front of package warning labels. Sign the petition on heala.org, HEALA.org, by the 30th of September.
Spar brings you super savings. Get 1 litre 6-pack Spar Long Life, full cream, low fat or fat-free milk, excluding lactose-free, for $89.99 with Spar Rewards, or 900-gram original Bacoma Wheat Bix for $49.99. Save 15 Rand with Spar Rewards. Plus, you could win your share of 6 million Rand in instant cash. Prices valid until 7 September 2025, while stocks last. T's and C's apply.
South Africa's new two-pot retirement system is revealing just how much pressure working people are under. This Thursday on 702 Breakfast, Old Mutual Corporate will unpack this headline topic from the Old Mutual Thought Leaders Forum and explore the key behavioral lessons that have emerged since the system's introduction. We'll also look at the ways in which employers can step up with smarter support, better benefits, and play a vital role in building long-term financial resilience for the country's workforce. Join the conversation on Thursday, the 28th of August, brought to you by Old Mutual Corporate on 702.
The Sharing Space
on the Clement Manyathela Show.
702.
8 minutes before 12 o'clock. Back to your calls now. Liesel, you're calling from Alberton. Good morning.
Morning. How are you?
I'm all right. Go ahead.
Good. So I have a 14-year-old daughter, and she's starting to now, also getting interested in boys. So it's a difficult one. When do you allow it? When don't you? Our parents were not so overprotective like I am now. And my daughter's very fashionable. So she loves fashion. She loves makeup. She loves all these things. But how do you actually draw the line to say what is acceptable and what is not acceptable? So I've got this rule in my house where I say you can be classy, not sleazy.
Okay.
So if she walks out of that room and there's any stomach showing, there's any cleavage showing, which normally she knows the rules, so she abides. She's been brought up with Christian principles where there's strong values, and I have a very open relationship with her. So I know I ask her open questions like, "What does it mean if a boy asks you, what does it mean?
Yeah.
Does it mean you're going to hold hands? What does it mean?" So then she'll tell me, and I think that open communication with them will help. But there has to be the parent has to lay strong guidance and strong rules in terms of whether they're popular or not. It's not a popularity contest.
Absolutely, but I love, Liesel, that the open communication channel that you have between you and your child. Thank you for sharing that with us. Nicola, you are in Johannesburg. What are your thoughts? Hi.
Hi, Clement, man. Nicola here. I just wanted to add, man, I was a victim myself. I'm much older now, but addict for many years, and, the way I rebelled and whatever. My father used to He used to hit me, burn my clothes. He hit me while watching how the clothes gets burned and everything. You know, and what I want to add is, as much as she's going to have a discussion like the other callers are saying, you know, with the child, she needs to get, and I think this is where my father failed. He didn't get the approach right. His tone of voice, just how to do it. You understand? I think if he got that right, because his intention was 100% right, 100%, but the approach was wrong. And yeah, it's a pity he's not around anymore to see that I'm 25 years old and I'm working in schools and giving back to community. But I just wanted to add that you know that if the mother whatever she wants to do, she needs to get the approach right, and the tone of voice very important. Sit the child nicely down, get the scenery right. The day, you know, even if she has to pray, prepare for it, whatever, you know, take her for coffee and whatever, and explain to her, look here, I'm not doing this for anything. I love you and I want the best for you.
Oh, I love that, Nicola. Watch your tone. Thank you so much for that.
Morning, Clement. How are you today? Hope you're good, my brother. In regard to the parent that is feeling pressure from allowing her child to do what the other children in her school are doing, I say to her, kudos to her for putting her foot down and making sure that her child enjoys being a child, one. And then two, I don't think she would be happy if she allows her child to do what other children in the school are doing, because chances are, if the other children in school are taking drugs, the child will, you know, also take drugs, you know. So kudos to you, mom. Yeah, she'll thank you one day. That's my take. She will thank you one day. It's pure from Jablan. Thank you.
Hi, Clement. I'm calling in to respond to your caller's dilemma. I'd like to remind her that this is not something new, actually, that girls are doing. Let's remind everybody that miniskirts came in the 1960s and fashions have changed. That is definitely something. But on the other hand, I'd like her to remember that her child might be 15, 16 now. In 2 or 3 years, she's going to be legally an adult. And teenagehood is a transitionary time between childhood and adulthood. And mom needs, well, my recommendation is that mom lets go of the apron strings a little bit, loosens them, not lets go of them completely, but gives the child a little space to start exploring who she is and what she likes and what she wants to be like, because in 2 years' time, legally, mom can have no say over what she looks like anymore. Obviously, mom's values and ethics and morals and all of that play a part in this, but that would be about how she's already brought her daughter up. But I've raised 2 teenage daughters. I know that these challenges are real, and I wish this mom everything of the best.
The Johannesburg Philharmonic Orchestra wraps up its early spring season under the baton of popular conductor Daniel Boyko, featuring internationally renowned violinist Suzanne Ahau. The evening of crowd-pleasing blockbusters include Liszt, Hungarian's Rhapsody, Vianevsky, Violin Concerto, and Tchaikovsky's Symphony No. 7. Thursday, the 28th of August at 7:30 p.m. at the Linda Auditorium. Book your tickets at Quicket.
James, congrats on the babies.
Yeah, thanks. It's a wild ride.
You're a new dad, 2 babies, 0 sleep, and 1 car that apparently couldn't cope.
Yeah, the hatchback was my baby, but it just didn't have enough space for my 2 new babies.
And are you happy with the price when you sold to We Buy Cars?
Very. We've even got some extra cash to splurge on one of those fancy prams that you basically need a license for.
Good luck, James. We Buy Cars. Geared for family, geared for you.
To walk the talk is to turn words into meaningful actions. And it's what we at 702 are committed to doing every day. We're also committed to following the rules set out by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission's Code of Conduct. to give you balanced programming, fair comment, and accurate news. But if we stumble along the way and you feel we're not living up to the code, let us know on comment@702.co.za. And if after that you're still not happy, you can direct your complaint in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission, PO Box 412365, Craig Hall 2024. For more, visit bccsa.co.za.
Coming up
on the Midday Report
with Mandy Wiener.
How are you doing, Mandy?
Very good, thanks,
What's
Clem.
popping today?
Pule Mabe is back in court on fraud and corruption charges. That matter's been postponed, but we'll hear from him what he's been saying outside court. South Africa is hosting an Interpol African Regional Conference. We have problems with our own policing at the moment against that backdrop. The Premier of the Western Cape on taxi violence will unpack the Africa Wealth Report. Joburg still the richest city in Africa, and South Africa the richest country in Africa. And OMG, Clem, it's happening.
What's happening?
Taylor and Travis
are
getting married.
The Swifties are probably going crazy.
Crazy.
That
It's
wedding
big.
is going to be big.
Do you remember when Kim Kardashian married that?
Kanye?
No,
Not
before,
Kanye?
the one before.
Okay, I don't know.
He was also a sports guy. I mean, I can't even remember now. It
Yeah.
was massive. And
Yeah.
then they got divorced like a month later. But I think that these guys are...
Yeah, solid.
It's a love story.
Yeah, interesting. That's going to be a big wedding. Now that I'm looking forward to.
Do you think you'll get invited?
I'll pray about it. That's the Midday Report with Mandy Wiener. Thank you for listening to the show, my friends. I will not be with you on this show until the 9th of September because Bongani is stealing me. I'm going to be helping out on 702 Breakfast. But you'll have someone who'll take care of you. So you'll be listening to me between 6 and 9 o'clock. Have a beautiful day, my friends. Bye-bye.
This is EWN.
Good afternoon. I'm Bali Dlamini. Acting Police Minister Feroz Kachalia says the Interpol African Regional Conference takes place at a time when transnational crime has become a major concern for all governments across the globe. Kachalia delivered the opening address at the conference underway in Century City in Cape Town today.